But before all that, new data has revealed that water pollution in England is at an all-time 10-year high, causing hundreds of wild swimmers to fall ill from serious infections.
It's a big issue. One woman who's deeply passionate about clean water is our next guest, 28-year-old Megan, who took a love for the environment to a whole new level. She is committed by marrying the River Avon.
How beautiful were those pictures?
Lovely, weren't they?
You in the water, yes. You heard that right. Her one-of-a-kind wedding was complete with a wedding dress, guests and vows. And Megan joins us now to tell us all about it. Hello, Megan.
Wish we could have come to this.
No, I wish I could have invited you. That would have
Wish
been
we
lovely.
knew you then. It was wonderful. Looks so nice.
So firstly, you've got your husband with you right here.
He's my darling.
There's Avon.
There he is.
Yeah, a little bit of a River Avon. Tell us about this wedding, because it sounds absolutely beautiful.
It was a really magical day. People say it's the best day of their lives, and it definitely was for me.
Was it the vows that you took? What was it that made everyone so emotional?
Well, I'm a writer, so I put a lot of thought into what I wanted to say. There was a film crew that were there. The shots that you just saw were from a documentary film, Rave On for the Avon, of which my wedding is the finale. So we knew that this story was going to keep being told beyond that day. But also, I had an incredible celebrant, a really old family friend of mine that has known my parents for a very long time. And she does funerals, mostly. And this was her first wedding. And she told me afterwards that she has never cried at any ceremony she's done before or since. Aww. But she cried on my wedding day.
That's so nice.
And it got all of us, you know, looking out into that audience, everyone was weeping. Yeah. I'd never been to a wedding before. And there I was in a dress.
You've never been to a wedding before?
I'd never been to a wedding.
How did you enjoy your own wedding?
It was great.
You should do more weddings.
Well, I went to a couple last year and I love weddings.
Was it hard to organise? Were you bridezilla at all? I mean, how did the day go?
I don't think I was bridezilla. I hope I wasn't. Luckily, I had a lot of support. I've got a lot of very creative friends, you know.
The outfit's amazing.
The outfit. My mum helped me buy this dress from a charity shop. My friends from school, because, you know, I married the Avon, which is the Bristol River, so we wanted to do it in a kind of quirky Bristolian way.
Great.
Have you taken your husband's name yet? Have you illegally taken the name?
I haven't done it legally because the paperwork seemed a bit long. But it's kind of my stage name, because since the wedding I've been performing my poems a lot more and getting dressed up for morning telly. So it's nice to have two names. You know?
Sorry to interrupt. How are you with him playing away?
Well, it's an open relationship.
It's an open relationship.
It's a very open relationship.
So when you see people swimming in there, you're like, hang on a second.
I love going to the river.
Get your dirty boats out of my man.
Luckily, I know I'm green right now, but I don't often get jealous. I love going to the river and seeing lots of people enjoying being near the river. And I've been on tour recently, and I've been swimming in a lot of other rivers.
Megan, you've got...
And I don't think that they're jealous either.
You've got a lovely vibe about you. You've got such lovely energy. And this came from a really serious place in all, didn't it? Because... I mean, how long have you been wild swimming, and did you grow up around the river?
So I grew up in Bristol, and I always thought the Avon was too dangerous to swim in, inaccessible, muddy, polluted.
Bad boy, you said.
A bad boy.
It's a bad boy. She's made a boy.
My parents said, stay away from that river.
Yeah.
Dirty bad boy. Yeah. And then I started swimming. Luckily, I've got family that live in Wales and Scotland, so we would swim. I didn't know it was called wild swimming back then.
Just swimming, wasn't it? Yeah,
it was
exactly.
Just swimming.
Same.
So I can't really remember when I first started swimming, I've just always been drawn to water. And I think we are all drawn to water in a way, because we're mostly water, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
We're over 50% water, and so's the world.
What's lovely is so many people cared. I mean, you got this wedding crowdfunded. I think you raised about £500 of it, spent £1,000 on it. So many people do care about our waterways. I mean, if we look at some of the statistics in 2024, 331 people had to see a doctor, and 79% were reported that the medical professionals had attributed that illness to sewage pollution. It's so sad, isn't it?
It's really sad, and it's not just an issue here, you know. I mean, we've got a fully privatised water system in the UK, one of the most expensive ones as well, and the water's still shoddy. And 50% of the world's population, 50% of hospital beds in the world right now are taken up by somebody suffering from an illness related to water contamination.
That is an incredible statistic.
It causes more deaths every year than all violence, including wars, you know? Water is an essential part of life. And I think just as it's a human right to have access to clean drinking water, I think it's a human right to have access to water that you can also swim
Yeah.
in and be in, and for it to improve your mental and physical well-being.
And it's unbelievable, isn't it, the difference it makes?
Yeah, you said you have a relationship with the sea.
Yeah. I'm more of a salt guy, so, but, you know, I respect the rivers, respect the fresh
Would you
water.
ever consider, you know, a little relationship?
I'm married already,
Getting
but
married?
I'm definitely cheating on my wife with Hampstead Ponds.
All the time.
To be fair...
Is that not going to sound... She's cool with it, though.
She does as well, yeah. So, but
There
there
you
is something about being in water. Doesn't matter if it's the winter or the summer. It's just something to sort. You come out and you're like, I'm ready for the day.
Yeah, it's transformative because you're entering a different element, aren't you? It's
What
healing.
is the message that you want to get across to people out there who are watching today?
So I want to say that there's a lot to be scared about in the world right now, particularly with water pollution. And this campaign, there's a lot to be angry about because, you know, our bills are just going up and up. They Ofwat have given allowance for water companies to raise the bills by 30% every year. So there's a lot to be angry and scared about. But what we wanted to do with the wedding was to focus on love and joy and union and the strength that bringing people together through those joyful moments. Like, we don't have many ceremonies left in our human Western world right now, but we still have weddings. Yeah. Everyone loves a wedding.
Yeah.
So that's what we wanted to do. We want to give out a message of hope. And there's an empowerment. I think coming out of the water, you feel stronger. I didn't think I'd be sat on morning telly in a wedding dress, but the swimming in the river has given me the power to have a voice.
Megan, if people are watching this and they're like, well, I'm not really a swimmer, it's not even about swimming, it's just about being, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's just about being in nature, being in, whether it's mountains or beaches or rivers. It is that notion of just like stillness and a reset. I think everyone...
And you just want it to be clean.
Yeah.
I mean, you
Not much
just
to
want
ask, is it?
clean waters.
What are you going to do for your next anniversary? Because talk about bad boy, last year you broke your leg.
I did, yeah. So
Naughty River Avon.
Well, I'm trying to work out what the message is there, but I've done 2 pilgrimages now, one to the source of the river and one to the mouth. I went to Avon Mouth for my
Where's the source?
The source is near Malmesbury kind of area. So you walk through a lot of private land because 97% of riverbanks are on private land. So we only have access to 3% of our rivers in England and Wales, which is wild.
Yeah,
luckily, with the Thames, you can walk all the way up and down it. There's footpaths, but there's not for the Avon. I was trying to go to the river for a swim and I slipped and I broke my leg. So access is really important. There's Right to Rome is an amazing campaign group and they've got an event coming up on Sunday, the 27th of this month. And because how are you supposed to build a relationship with something that you don't know? And how do you love something you don't know? And then how do you protect it? So, yeah, we need to work on ways to get to the water and build on this relationship and build this love.
Can I just say, the River Avon is very, very lucky. I think that River Avon's punching.
Oh, he is.
Gorgeous. You know what I mean?
But have you met my darling?
Yeah, but she's right.
I think we're quite well matched.
She's right. Thank you, Megan.
Yeah, I don't think I'm the first person to have fallen in love with the river, and I don't think I'll be the last, but I really hope that the rivers will still be alive and well in the future.
Thank you.
That's great.
Megan.
Thank you, Megan. You can see the documentary Rave on the River Avon, independent cinemas across the country. You've been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the morning.
But we're starting today by meeting a real-life superhero, aren't we?
After contracting meningitis when she was just 15 months old, Tilly Lockie's hands were amputated to save her life. But through state-of-the-art bionic arms, she's been able to live a life to the fullest.
Tilly is now 19 years old and yesterday became the first person to get the most advanced wireless hands in the world, which are incredibly controlled by her mind.
Tilly joins us now alongside robotics engineer and all-round clever clogs who helped design her hands, Joel Gibbert. Welcome, both of you.
Yeah, welcome.
Tilly, I haven't seen you for ages. You came on the show a few years ago, didn't you?
2020, I think you was.
Yeah, a couple of times. My first time with you guys, though. So
nice to meet you.
be chilling with you.
It's nice to have you back, Tilly. Let's start at the beginning for people who don't know the story. You were just 15 months when you contracted meningitis.
Yeah.
It came at a cost. You lost both of your hands at the time. And the thing is, with something like this, it's such a big thing. Do you even remember a point when you felt different from anyone else?
Yeah, like it's completely life-altering, body-altering operation, obviously. And luckily, I was so young at the time, so I don't remember it. I've kind of like had no hands my entire life, you know. So it's just something that I've always known myself to be like. And growing up, yeah, there's definitely some challenges. Like you're adapting to a world that is designed for 4 limbs at the end of the day, and something that has been a journey has been prosthetics. And through my own experience, I've been able to see like that evolution firsthand, you know, so that's been really, really cool.
I think that's the most fascinating thing, is how many iterations this has had for you. So, I mean, when you started, what were your bionic arms like? What were you using?
Well, my first prosthetic I ever got, I was 2 years old, and I was like pretty much fresh out the bandages, and that wasn't technological at all. It was basically like a tube to put your arm in. There were like these 3 prongs tied together by elastic bands, and the way it operated was with this hook on the thumb, which would attach to a harness, and then the way I'd move like my upper body would pull on strings and make it move. But obviously, 2 years old, got barely any bodily coordination anyway, so it was a bit of a nightmare. And now you see them and they're like 3D printed, muscle operated, and yeah, it's been wild.
And when you're little, all of that, your gross motor skills, your fine motor skills have to be developed with that in mind as well, I suppose.
Yeah. And I think for me, it was like more, I wasn't just adopting it as my hand. Like I just didn't really know what was even going on at that point. So it's been a journey.
Yeah. It's been a journey. Now, obviously, you're here to show off your new bionic arms.
Yes.
I've been watching you on Instagram, actually. It's so interesting. So tell me about these arms that you've got at the moment.
So these are the brand new Hero Pro. We had the Hero Arm, and this is Hero Arm next level upgrade. So they're pretty cool. They're still like 3D printed, muscle operated, but we've got all this extra capabilities now, which is really, really cool.
And Joel, you actually designed these. What got you into bionics?
Well, probably playing with Lego as a child. What got me really interested in technology. That evolved into electronics and robotics. And then I wanted to do something that would have a positive social impact with technology. So got really into bionic hands and prosthetics.
What's it like as an industry to get into? I mean, presumably there's a lot of qualifications you need before you even start, but it must be so innovative and so exciting. And looking at Tilly's journey, has come on so much in the last, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, well, yes, it's come on enormously. One of the reasons that inspired me to get into it was because technology wasn't really moving forward from the sense of what people were actually getting for prosthetic limbs. So there's lots of research taking place, lots of really exciting things, but they weren't really making it to market.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the key things, was like, could we take this really cool technology, but actually make it accessible to the NHS, make it so that everybody's actually getting it.
So
Brilliant.
when did you meet Tilly then? Tell us about that story of meeting Tilly.
It was probably like, you were about 9, 10 years old, I think, at that time. So we wanted to work with users of prosthetics very much from day one.
Yeah.
So we were putting out calls on social media to say, does anybody want to help us test the new designs, prototypes that we're making? And was it you or your mum got in touch with us? I think it was your mum got in touch with us initially. And we were like, yes, that would be great. We want you to help. And even from 9, 10 years old, Tilly was giving us fantastic ideas for how to design the arms.
Tilly, what's extraordinary was before we came on air, you said you're still getting used to these. And you sort of don't know your own strengths.
Yeah, I mean, they're twice as fast, twice as strong. So, it's definitely something to get used to, but I mean, even better,
Yeah.
I get to be bigger and stronger now.
So can you demonstrate a few of the things that you can do? Can you pick up that glass there?
Yeah, so they're all muscle operated. I can just control it like that, can do anything I want to do.
And are you doing that with your mind? You're just thinking...
I mean, everything ultimately comes from the brain, but what's really great about these is it's just these 2 muscle sensors. So it's only squeeze to close, flex to open, cycling through grip modes, and even that becomes second nature after a while.
Joel, what's the mechanics of that? Like, so how does that work?
Yeah, it's a good question. So basically most of the muscles that will move your hand and fingers, so there's like 24 movements in your hand and wrist.
Yes.
But all the muscles that are controlling them, nearly all of them, are actually in your forearm. And they connect to tendons that connect to your fingers. So even for somebody that doesn't have human hands, they've still got most of the muscles.
Yeah.
So the things that Tilly's thinking about to make those muscles move would be the things that we're thinking about to do those movements with our hands. So it's kind of intuitive. I don't know whether you feel that it's intuitive. It's intuitive for somebody that lost a hand when maybe they had previously used one. For you, you're saying you can't really remember, so...
Yeah, it's odd. Like, I wish I had the other hand so I could compare.
Yeah.
I'm like, I genuinely don't even know, but it works.
And is it a constant fine-tuning? Because you were saying that they're quite strong, they're very strong. Did you have to fine-tune? Would she have smashed that glass in the past?
She wouldn't quite be able to smash the glass, but so the hand detects the amount of pressure, and so it will kind of automatically stop applying pressure when it grabs an object, but then Tilly's able to give it another signal to increase the pressure if she wants to. So the idea would be you could, for example, grab something like an egg and then smash it and crush it on demand.
Really? The egg would be done for you.
So could you operate that arm when it's not attached to you?
Yes. So that's the thing, and we've posted about it on social media, and that's what everybody is like, this is crazy, mind-blowing.
Oh, we've got to see this.
We have...
I'll just help Tilly.
Completely wireless, so you can actually just detach the hand like that.
And you're thinking about it.
And I can still operate it the same way as if it was attached. Make it move.
That is incredible.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. So I can do little tasks for me when I can't be bothered.
Have you ever had any mishaps where you've left it somewhere?
Well, I am sure that I will be, like, something like that will happen. I haven't had them long enough to make a mess of it yet, but yeah.
Also, the practical jokes and wind-ups, you can use that for.
Oh, yeah. So
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Joel, what's the future for this? Like, obviously, it must be hugely expensive, the research and development and the manufacture. So, are we going to? Will there be a time where this can be available on the NHS?
This is available on the NHS now.
Oh,
Yes.
no.
Yeah. So these have been developed with a lot of feedback from NHS prosthetists, specifically designed to make sure they are available through the NHS.
And can you change the colours and things like that?
You can, yeah. So there are covers you can put on the outside of the arms.
Love
you can have different designs and colours.
I mean, this has been life-changing, especially for your music as well, Tilly. It's really been life-changing for that, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it just gives me the opportunity to... It's just things people take for granted, like being able to hold a microphone and, like, express with the other hand, even to be able to, like, shake someone's hand or, like, throw a peace sign, you know? It's the little things like that. But, yeah, if I didn't have them, I would just be, like, stood behind, like, a mic stand probably, but it just allows me to, like, prance around and be crazy on
So the
stage.
your company's Open Bionics, and Tilly, you're working with Open Bionics now.
Yeah.
So what a great poster girl to have, right?
Couldn't think of anyone better. She's fantastic.
Tilly, if people are watching this at home and they're the start of a similar journey that you were when you were 3 years old, and the parents are watching and they're in the depths of despair at the moment, what message would you like to give to them?
I would just tell them, I mean, it's all about raising awareness and making sure people know what's actually out there. Like, so many people, I've been posting about it for years, and so many people see these and they're like, I feel like I've missed like 10 years. Like, when did this happen, you know? So it's just getting it out there and making sure people know that they're on the NHS as well. Because sometimes people will see them and be like, oh, well, it's a pipe dream for me, I can't afford it, do you know what I mean? But there is all this support now, so if it is something you want to get started in doing, like, you can, and there's options available. And I would also say be open. The best thing about Open Bionics is they're so open to feedback, and it's through people, like, using it, like, and going about their day-to-day lives. They're the ones who can give feedback and make them ultimately better, and that's what I do.
And in a wider context as well, like, the fact that people at home who might be going through a similar thing can see a 19-year-old that's young, vibrant, that's got the rest of her life ahead of her. Exactly, yeah. It's brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Today marks a hugely significant moment in history.
Yeah. It's been 80 years since the liberation of Bergen-Belsen, the Nazi concentration camp, where more than 72,000 camp inmates imprisoned in war died during World War II.
Though 80 years may have passed for our next guest, who was just a child when she was sent to the camp, the horrors of the Holocaust remain all too vivid.
We are joined now by Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen survivor and best-selling author Rini Salt alongside her son Martin. Welcome, both of you. Rini, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very well.
And sharing the story with us. Let's start before the war. What can you remember about your childhood? You lived in a town called Zunskavola in Poland. What were your memories before the war?
I had a wonderful family. My parents, my younger sister, and my 2 sets of grandparents, and so many aunts and uncles. My father was one of 8 children. My mother was one of 4. So the family was very large. And we had a wonderful, wonderful childhood.
Happy upbringing with a
Happy
lovely, loving family.
upbringing, yes, schooling, and my parents planned such wonderful things for us. They wanted us to go to Paris to study further after school.
Yeah.
They didn't think about marriage for us. They always thought more about education.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Yes.
And then the war started, the Nazis invaded. What are your memories, your early memories? Because then you were basically forced from your house and moved into ghettos, is that right?
Yeah, first of all, we ran away from our town. We went to lodge. I don't know why people ran away. Perhaps they thought it's a lot bigger town, we might be safer there. But I had my grandparents also there. My father's family lived in lodge. So we ran away to lodge. And after a few days, we had to go back. We didn't have anything with us. We left our home. So we started going back to Stuinskavola. And when we arrived near our house, our landlord met us. And he said, the Germans took over your flat and took over everything. And you've got nothing to go back to. So we lost our home on the very first day of the war, practically.
So your life is literally taken from you, every single bit.
On the very first day.
After a while, people had moved into the ghettos, and after that,
There wasn't ghettos yet. At that time, there wasn't ghettos.
But when you were moved into the ghettos, life was very difficult,
very
correct?
difficult,
Yeah.
yes.
And then when it came for you to be transported, how was, you know, we know these names now, they trip off our tongue so terribly, the names of Auschwitz, the names of Bergen-Belsen.
Never heard of it.
How was it sold to you that it was just going to be a different life?
Yes, they sent us out to different camps. And so we found ourselves first in Auschwitz. And then from Auschwitz, I was sent to Hamburg.
And really, before you get on the train, what were people telling you about where you were going?
Oh, we are going to better places, of course. You'll be better off. You'll have plenty of good food, good living accommodations, good medical care. All they wanted that we should go quietly.
So really, reading your story, the saddest thing is how you lose your family so...
Yeah, gradually.
Gradually and incrementally. So suddenly someone walks that way, you never see them again.
Yeah.
Your father turns a corner, you never see him again. It's just heartbreaking.
My sister went first. They took her away, and my mother never recovered from it. I still miss her.
Of course.
Still miss her today. And then eventually we lost our grandparents, my uncles, my aunts. Everybody went.
Really, how do you rebuild?
Bit by bit, they were all taken away.
How do you rebuild when something like that happens to you? How do you keep going? Where do you get that resilience from?
You've got no options, have you? You have to pull yourself together and do the best you can.
Yeah. What's amazing is how you remember this like it was. It feels like you're telling us this story like it was last week, you know?
Absolutely, not that like it happened 80 years ago. Like it happened yesterday.
It never leaves you.
Never leaves you, no.
Really, for so many people, Auschwitz was the end, but you went to Auschwitz for a small time. You were reunited with your mother through almost luck, wasn't she? She got in the right queue.
She wasn't in the right. She was separated for a minute.
Yeah.
Before I had a chance to cry out, she was back with me.
Yeah.
That was her courage, which did that. She wanted to be with me.
Of course.
She wanted to look after me, and she did to the last, till she died.
And then you were transported to Bergen-Belsen.
No, first to Hamburg.
Yeah.
On slave labor.
Yeah.
Had to carry sacks of cement, with cement on my back.
And how old were you?
14, 15.
Just a child?
Yeah.
You were just a child?
Yeah. I still suffer from my back.
Really?
I still suffer from my back.
And really...
The pain never left me.
It's a very difficult question to ask, but what are your memories of Bergen-Belsen and your time there? I mean, we read so much about it and we've seen the footage, but from someone that was there, it just seems unimaginable.
I came to Bergen-Belsen on a train from Hamburg. They stopped us in the middle of nowhere. They started screaming, "Get off the train, be quick," which we did. We jumped off. We had to hold on to one another to remain standing. We were gasping for water. It was so hot already. And it was April, but still it was hot. They lined us up and they took us to a hut. We were walking through many miles of very woody country till we came to the gates of the camp. They opened up the gates and we were pushed through. The scene that met us there, it's not possible to describe. Yeah. Here we saw skeletons walking.
Oh, really?
Their arms and necks were like matchsticks. Their eyes bulged out grotesquely out of their skull-like faces. Some were dressed in rags, others were naked. The stench that arose from the camp was impossible to describe. We've been through already so much, but this was something different and horrifyingly different.
Oh, really? I know you've put all this in your book, A Mother's Promise, and it is so painful. Me just watching you tell the story, I don't want you to even tell the rest of the story because I know it's in the book, because it's so painful to even listen to. Your son Martin's here. Hi, Martin.
Hi.
What's unbelievable about this story is Rini meets Charles, who was actually one of the soldiers who helped to liberate the camp. And you're the offspring of that beautiful relationship, and we're so happy you're here. Did you know about what your mum went through, and what age did you find out about all these stories?
Well, when I went to school, sort of late 60s, early 70s, there was no such thing as Holocaust education. So the word Holocaust didn't even exist in my mind. My mum and dad never spoke about their experiences, even though they'd both been to Belsen. My mum was a prisoner and my dad is a liberator. They must have had this pact that they wouldn't talk about it at home. Yeah. So I didn't pick up anything through school or from my mum and dad. So it was later on, in the early 2000s, when I was 48.
Yeah, 48.
We went back with the BBC to do a documentary about my mum's experiences, and we went to Poland, Germany, and retraced her footsteps. And at that stage, that was the first I knew what she'd, not even in great detail what she'd been through, but at a high level. And it's only more recently, when she's been talking, I've been going to some of those talks, that I've got more of the detail, but at home, I didn't know anything at all.
Why would she talk about it?
She's a mum, she's protecting her baby.
Yeah, and also you want to live a new life, right?
We couldn't talk about it.
Of course.
My husband always had tears in his eyes when we spoke about Bergen-Belsen especially.
Well, Rini, today we commemorate the anniversary of your liberation and those who were liberated at Bergen-Belsen. Just lastly, what message would you want to share with future generations?
What I would like to tell future generations is that they should live in peace and with one another. There shouldn't be any difference between colour of the people, whether they're black, white, doesn't make any difference. We're all God's children.
Rini, thank you so much.
Rini, thank you for telling your
thank
story.
You for, I'm sorry that you have to relive this time and time again, but the message is so important.
Yes.
And thank you so much for coming on the sofa, and you, Martin.
Thank you.
For sharing your story
Thank you,
with us.
Rini.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. And Terry and Jono join us now. Thanks so much for coming in, boys. Jono, tell us a little bit about the show and how you got involved in it.
Oh, it's such a beautiful show. The producer, Andrew, contacted me a few years ago and he's like, Jono, got this idea of a show. And I've heard you say we live in a world that's obsessed with image and looks, and I think that's harmful for everybody. And he's like, I don't know how it's going to look, but I just know you need to be in it. And I was like, OK, tell me more. And he was like, we've got this clinic people with visible differences come to the clinic and they feel safe. And with that safety, they're able to talk about whatever's gone in their life that may have given them a visible difference, whether they were born or if it's happened later on in life. And we just do this emotional journey with them. It's not about this before and after. It's about the journey, the emotional journey. Are you interested? And I was like, yeah.
And what's lovely about this show is it tackles everything, doesn't it, mentally? And not everybody has surgery, do they? You'll meet 14 individuals throughout the show, all on their own unique journeys. And they all approach it differently. Some is treatment, some is more emotional work, but you can't have one without the other. The emotional work is such a key part to it all. And I think everybody who watches it, they'll be able to connect with somebody or a certain emotion, like, oh, I feel like that too.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Well, Terry, let's chat to you. What happened to you back in that day in 2007 was just unimaginable. Tell us what you're comfortable with telling us. I mean, what do you remember from it?
Well, my uncle was a paranoid schizophrenic, and he was, on the day of 2007, he was looking for paranoid answers to delusions that he had going on. And he was armed with a petrol can and a lighter at the time. So that was kind of the basis of...
Yeah. What are your memories afterwards? Like, do you remember the first memory you had after the attack?
Yeah, I thought I was going to die, I'll be honest. As soon as I went to hospital, I was swelling up and I just felt like I was seeing the light, if that makes sense. So I thought I was done for then.
And in the months and the years afterwards, is it just a case of you don't want to shut the door, or...?
Oh, it's such a long journey, and an emotional one, because so many things happened in that time of 3 months.
Yeah.
Learning to redo things that I'd done for so many years prior to that. And the first time, through all of that journey, they handed me a mirror for the first time. And it was like, oh, God, it was like a monster looked back at me.
Yeah.
So that was my hardest thing, I think.
Yeah, I bet.
So you just didn't... Obviously, you'd been in this massive burns incident.
Yeah.
You didn't recognise yourself at all.
No.
And then you decided to do this show. But before you did the show, you actually had a tattoo as well, didn't you?
Yes. So when I went on the show, I basically went on there because I had half eyebrows and I really wanted to get my symmetrics back on my face and my expressions. And upon doing the show, I found out that my tattoo was a mask because I was so disfigured. I put a tattoo on so that people would look at that rather than look at me.
So to distract people
Distract people from how I looked.
Is that a common thing, Jono, do you think?
I'm not sure if it's common, but it's definitely something I've done. In my teenage years, I hated my face. So during high school, one lunch break, I went to town, went to a local tattoo shop, got myself a tattoo. I was into gangster rap at the time, so I chose a crucifix, got my arm tattooed, bled so much, got wrapped up and everything, went back to school and everybody was like, oh, let's see your tattoo, let's see your tattoo. And I had all these people around me, not talking about my face or in my head.
Yeah.
It was never really about my face. They were my friends, but in my head, it's all about my face. I need to take the attention away. Look at this. And people looked and were like, you've got a tattoo, mate. And I'm like, yeah, like instant regret. And then for the next 2 years, I had to wear jumpers around my mum. Just
See,
to try
I
and
think the
hide
regret
it.
hasn't lasted, though. You've obviously gone down the route.
And every time my mum sees a new tattoo, she says like, oh, you ruined your beautiful skin. But I would do, when I was in my trauma, I would do anything to take away the attention from my face. I wanted to be accepted. I wanted to be cool. I didn't want this to be a talking point. And yeah, there were a lot of unhealthy coping mechanisms started with food and eating sunbeds, just that obsession to fit in or to be accepted or to try and, just to please society almost. And thankfully that's passed and I'm able to turn up as my authentic self. And the more I am my authentic self, the more doors open, the more friendships I make, the more random, beautiful moments I have with random strangers. And
what's lovely, when we're watching the show, what's really lovely is your connection with everybody when you have a chat. What did you get out of doing the show? You was a presenter on it. What did you get out of it?
For people like Terry and all the other amazing contributors, for them to trust me with some emotional stuff is is pretty special, and it's going to really, really stay with me, and it helps me heal. And having heart-to-heart moments is just something the world needs more of. You know, we live in this social media world and technology, and we've lost that human interaction and those heart connections. And the show is all about those heart connections, sharing stories, sharing moments, sharing smiles, hugs and tears. And we need more of that. The world is full of a lot of hate at the moment. And the show just teaches us to love ourselves and love our fellow human being.
What about you, Terry?
I think Jono being the host of the show was the amazing part, because going on it, to see someone that understands what you're going through before I even started the journey, then that was special for me.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Rather than someone that hasn't been through something.
Yeah. What procedures did you end up having in the end then?
Well, I went there for hair transplants and eyebrows, which I got, and then I got my tattoo lasered off, which was probably the longest.
You literally can't even see any of it now.
No.
It's unbelievable.
But like Jono said, well, I had other tattoos before that to cover all my skin grafts, and then that was just it's changed my life since that's gone. And having my eyebrows, people say it's cosmetic, but my hair and eyebrows are so important.
It's life-changing, isn't it?
It's confidence. You need that. As a man, I had so many confidence issues that to come back with it now, feel back to my old self.
And like Jono said, it's not just about the physical treatment. It's about the emotional, psychological treatment. Yeah. How has that journey been for you since this?
What, during the show or after?
Both.
Well, it was, you know what, it was hard because I went through so many surgeries back in 2007 and 8 that I had to relive it.
Yeah, right.
Going back into surgery and recovery is the hardest because it's like a lonely journey there. You feel back to square one. And I felt like I was had to recover so many times for this. It's easy to say now because you forget it, but you've got to bear in mind that any surgeries come with like a recovery period as well.
Are you at a good place now where you can say, actually, the name of the show, Love My Face, I actually do love my face?
Yeah, do you know what the funny thing is? I feel like the title of the show now, yeah. Because I honestly do, because I sit there and I feel so good in myself.
That's so lovely.
Because I felt lost for so many years, so...
What a wonderful show.
Yeah,
what a wonderful show.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
One thing I will say as well, everybody who came onto the show, they had these, not everybody, a lot of them were like, oh, I'm not sure if I feel like I deserve to be here. We all, every single one of us, people watching at home, we all have things that we're insecure about, and we need to approach them and we need to talk about those feelings and emotions, and that's what it's about. Sometimes treatment works, sometimes it's having a chat or a hug or something. So watch the show. People are going to be able to connect with so many people and so many emotions. And yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Love My Face starts Thursday, 7 o'clock, Channel 4. You can stream all episodes then too. Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. Someone who knows it better than anyone is her daughter, Billy D, who is here with us now. Hi.
Hi.
Great to have you with us.
It's great to be here.
Just watching your mum is always, it's that kind of combination of pride and, it's my mum!
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, like universally, it's the mum look, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, can you imagine your mother going on a reality TV show?
Oh no.
Man.
No, absolutely not. But did you almost persuade her to do it?
Yes, it was me who persuaded her to do it. I mean, she gets asked quite a lot to do it, but there's never been a good time. There's never really been a reason. But she's so passionate about talking about cancer and living with long-term life-limiting illnesses. And we just felt this was the perfect time for her to go on and, represent all the millions of people who are living with conditions like that, especially at the time, when the government are, limiting personal independent payments and people are really suffering. So I think the fact that she's chosen to go on it this time is going to really impact a lot of people and make a big difference, hopefully.
Yeah. So when you actually had that conversation with her and you sat down, was it quite a kind of, were you pushing against an open door? Was you like, this is the right time? Because, her career's been so varied and successful. And, now she's obviously focusing on living her life. Was there a part of her just went, I really want to do this?
No, I don't think she's ever thought I really want to do this. It's just she's never really been interested in reality TV. But I just said to her, look, I think you can talk as much as you like about living with cancer, but people need to actually see you and see it. And then she thought, okay. So that was the moment that really clinched it for her, I think.
Yeah, nice.
It's not, and you could tell by the reaction of the crowd, even when she came in. You know, we've all got a soft spot for Trisha. I grew up watching her doing her chat show, you know, and I really remember her as this British Jerry Springer but with so much warmth, and that's how she appeared when she came up on stage and said that quote about, you know, just don't be scared of dying so much that you start being scared of living. Yeah. I think that just resonated with everyone, didn't it?
It really did. It really did. She's always been an ambassador, you know, for the underdog or for people going through a hard time, and she's always willing to put herself out there, and I'm so proud of her.
Were you heartened by that reception? Because I think when I was reading in my notes, she said, you know, she hasn't been on TV for a while. And yet she was just universally adored.
Do you know what? I think both of us just sort of forgot. A lot of time has gone by since her show, and I just think when everyone started chanting Trisha, I was jumping up and down. I couldn't believe it, and I could see on Mum's face that she was a bit taken aback by it as well. But she is a legend, and I'm really glad that, you know, maybe this reminds her of that. Yeah.
I think, she's, because of her chat show host past, she'll be very good at sort of being the negotiator, probably settling a lot of arguments. She's got a lot of interesting characters in there as well. Is there do you see that she's going to have to probably have words with a few of them?
I mean, she's already had words with a few of them. I mean, look, Mum will have a go at anyone she wants to. But yeah, she is really good at sitting down with people, getting those sort of difficult stories out. I think after the eviction tonight, she'll really come alive and be there supporting people. So, you know, let's see how we go. Sometimes Mum does start fights as well, so fingers crossed that doesn't happen too much, but we'll see.
She's a mediator, but you don't think she'd necessarily be the mother of the house.
The thing is, I've lived with her. I think it's very different, her doing her day job to actually living with someone day to day. You know, she can be a bit cheeky. She can push people's buttons sometimes. So look, let's see how we go.
I like that she was honest. I remember the first night, you know, Danny Beard was really loud, and I like that she just went straight over and said, by the way, you did my head in last night, you're too loud.
I mean, I've had that conversation with my mum several times. I almost cringed for Danny there. Yeah, I was like, Mum, don't be so grumpy on your first morning. But, you know, I think she commands respect, doesn't she?
Yeah, and he appreciated the honesty.
He did.
Do you think Mickey Rourke will be one that will appreciate the honesty?
I think he will. I think he might have an ally in Mum. I think, you know, yeah, we'll see how that goes. But they're of a similar age, a similar generation. Yeah, I think they might.
She could be the link, couldn't she? She could be that link between him and the younger generation.
Yeah.
And him realising the words he uses, even if he doesn't mean them with offence, are offensive and are antiquated, and sort of, you know, and maybe bring him out a little bit.
Let's hope so.
Yeah.
Let's hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, because there'd probably be a level of respect there. If she said it in the right way to him, that he maybe would take it on board, and we might see that side of him. We'll have to wait and see, because he's obviously up for eviction, so who knows what will happen tonight. We've heard her already telling stories about you, which must be weird to hear your name being dropped with Nelson Mandela and all that kind of stuff.
Mum loves a name drop. Mum loves a name drop, as I'm sure we'll hear a few more of them as the show goes on. But it is weird hearing stories about me. It's weird hearing my name mentioned. I'm just sitting at home, I'm like, oh God, okay. No, but she has lived an incredible life, and normally it is her interviewing other people, so I think it's great she has a chance to share some of her own stories.
People haven't heard that story, and obviously you can't remember it, but can you tell us the Nelson Mandela story?
I mean, obviously I can't remember, but, you know, I think it's probably one of Mum's proudest moments of her career. She was the first black person on Australian TV, which was massive.
What?
Yes.
The first black person on Australia TV in general?
Yeah. So, yeah, she made history with that. And so when Nelson Mandela was released from prison and he went on his tour, they sent my mum to interview him. So, yeah, that was incredible. And Mum used to bring me everywhere with her when I was a baby, and I was screaming and crying my head off, and Nelson Mandela wanted to hold me. And, yeah, I've got a little signed note from him at home still.
Wow.
Really
Lovely
incredible.
line, like he hasn't heard a baby cry for 20-odd years or something. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, your mum is a legend, and I'm sure the public are going to be backing her. Do you think she wants to win?
I don't think Mum wants to win. I don't think that was ever her intention. I think she's in there to fly the flag for everyone, you know, going through cancer or chronic illness. And, you know, I think she was really shocked not to have been nominated. I think that would have been a big moment for her and a big surprise. I don't actually think Mum's ever won anything in her life, so we'll see what happens. But
She's winning in life.
Yeah, I was going to say,
What
she
she's
might
doing.
just absolutely naturally breeze through on this one. You never know.
You never know.
Lovely
thank
chatting
you.
to you. Celebrity Brother continues tonight at 9 p.m. on ITV1, ITVX and STV and STV. Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button and we'll see you in the morning. After being diagnosed with motor neuron disease 2 years ago, Anna Barrow and her husband Martin had to figure out their new normal.
Yes, as the MND Association have seen a 20% increase in demands for grants. The couple say they wouldn't have survived without that help, which has enabled Anna to record her voice on a tablet, including some fun phrases, which I can't wait to ask you about, which is just so brilliant the way that both of you are dealing with this devastating disease. The pair join us now. It is such an honour to have you both on. Thank you.
Thanks, Nell. Thanks for having us.
Anna... Let's go back to the beginning, shall we, of how you were first diagnosed with motor neurones disease, because that must have been pretty terrifying.
Symptoms started in 2022 with weakness in my left hand, which the GP thought was nerve damage. Other symptoms started, such as being startled easily. Little things would make me jump, and I also kept tripping over. The doctor said it could be menopause, but I thought I am far too young for that.
So Anna went through a 18-month period of having some symptoms and started in her left hand, getting a bit weaker, and then moving to the right hand, a few trips and falls, and got put on a long waiting list to see a neurology team. It was only, Anna had a little bit of an episode, spent 2 weeks in hospital. And then it was the nurse there that thought, something's not right. 2 weeks of tests, wasn't it? Being smacked with a hammer on your knees, testing your reflexes every day. And then, we were... it was the day before she went home, so the 2 weeks, we were given a diagnosis, weren't we, on the Thursday.
And Martin, for your point of view and your family's point of view, are you thinking about that new reality, or are you just that when you got that diagnosis, was there that element of shock, or had you started to prepare for it?
I don't think you can prepare for it. They always say don't Google symptoms, which we didn't really, but as it got to the end and we didn't know, so it was an absolute shock when the consultant took us into a room and gave us a diagnosis, and we just cried for a while. It must have been a good hour. She kept on coming back in, going, and we had a conversation there and then, didn't we? And first thing we said was, what about the girls? That was our first.
You've got 3 girls.
Yeah, 3 girls.
20, 16 and 15, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're absolutely amazing, and they've been brilliant. But that was our first thought, was the girls, and initial shock, and just sort of had to restart our lives, really, didn't we? All the plans that we had, and it's just difficult being told that you've been diagnosed with something with no cure and no treatment.
I can't even imagine, Anna, and especially when they sort of, first of all, were sort of saying menopause, which feels so, every woman at some point will go through that. What a gear shift. But the way in which it just feels like you both tackle this head on, and from the sounds of it, you both were like, right, what are we going to do about this? We're going to live life now. And you had things that you wanted to do, didn't you?
Yeah. Definitely. Martin and I have been married for 18 years, and we wanted to renew our vows. I wanted to walk down the aisle. We have always wanted to take Tilly, even travelling to Disney. We went for Christmas and New Year. It was amazing, and we made memories we will cherish forever.
Oh, Disney with the kids, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, it was fantastic. It was full on, wasn't it? But it was, it was something we wanted to do, and it was more of that, we say that we'd rather be, an hour early than a minute late. Yeah. So it was just kind of everything that you wanted to do is do it now. Yeah. Say yes more times than you say no, and like I say, from the moment Anna was diagnosed, even in that room, after crying for a bit, the first thing we said to each other was, we'll deal with it how we deal with everything as a family, and humour and positivity. We'll take the mick and we'll have a laugh while doing it, and, and we'll have our cries, but, it's all about choosing your mood and just making sure that you're seeing the positive in everything.
Such a testament to you that you came into that mindset so quickly. Can we bring in the M&D Association and how they've helped you?
So we got introduced to the M&D Association at Anna's first hospital meeting. We met Andrew, one of the volunteers, and from there got invited to a meeting, and the help and support from them has been a lifeline. Not, the well-being, the advice that they can provide for you, but also the financial burden that comes with MND and being diagnosed with something like this. We've received probably about £5,000 worth of grants from the association, which is out with cost of living. So when the bills go up in April, we can get a grant which kind of offsets that. So it's just one less thing to worry about. And they've been absolutely amazing, haven't they? And we can always reach out to them when, no matter how small the question or how big the challenge, they're always there for supporting us.
Well, exactly, because how would any of us prepare for this? You've got to change your whole house, I presume, and the way you can move around.
Yeah, so we've gone through all of that, home adaptations, and that was the same thing, of that mentality of do it now. And so we've had our house adapted, and we had another grant from another charity who provided a grant for flooring to make it all accessible.
Yeah.
So the Ed Slater charity, which was absolutely brilliant for us. But yeah, we've done everything, and we've just tried to get everything right for you, haven't we?
And that grant, one of those grants, helped bank Anna's voice.
Yeah, so they provided hundreds of people across the UK with the ability to bank your voice, and for that, I'm forever grateful for that. That gives Anna the opportunity to still follow me around and tell me that I'm doing something wrong, but to bank. For someone to be able to bank the voice is...
And how does that work, practically?
So, it's quite simple, a piece of equipment. Anna recorded a voice on a laptop. She had to say 50 phrases, which then created Anna's voice, but then she also got the ability to record 300 of her favourite phrases to make it more unique, to keep, it more personal. So names... sayings, in-jokes within the family, that northern humour. It's a really straightforward process, but the process was actually really difficult emotionally.
Anna, did you find it emotional recording those?
I found it an emotional process. I had to stop and start because it was upsetting, knowing the reason why I was doing this was because I might not be able to say these things in the future. So names and sentimental phrases were the most challenging to record. I didn't want to think about losing the last bit of me.
Bless your heart, because I suppose I understand in the way that you've got to record them while you still can say all those phrases, because you start to lose that ability, which obviously you're still doing very well with today. And, you're an incredible woman. And what I love about you so much, and when I heard about this, I said, I can't wait to meet her. You've recorded some cracking phrases that you can fire up at any point. Talk me through some of your favourites.
I have a few. I say to Tilly, even Fallon every day, crack on. If they need a bit of encouragement, slay queen.
Slay queen!
If they have done something fabulous, or they look good, or just because. But my absolute favourite is, grab me a Prosecco.
There we go.
Oh, a girl after my own heart. Grab me a Prosecco.
We'll echo through the ages, don't worry.
That's
so
fantastic. Wonderful. So good. I presume, Martin, some of these phrases are directly at you.
Yeah, so the ones probably more so around, I've missed a bit, that's probably the biggest one. Have I done my chores? And then you've missed a bit actually follows that.
How many of the 50 were made up of the ones that basically...
49, probably. It was it's good. It's a massive thing for all of our family, our close family. In terms of the voice banking, Anna uses it quite regular, but not so much at home, because I don't know whether we understand Anna or we just know what she's going to say. So that...
My face. Yeah. Face says a lot, doesn't it, sometimes? One look can say
then more
enough.
so with people outside and people that she's not met, she's having to use that. But Anna does that more to help others. for them to understand her so she is understood as well. But yeah.
I mean, you're both phenomenal. I honestly mean that. And I think you coming on the show like this today, you're just going to inspire so many people because you're brave and you're attacking something that's so scary. And you're going, let's just live. And you've got loads of things you want to get done, don't you? You've got loads of things and you want to just live life to the fullest.
Holidays are a little tricky now with the accessibility and financial barriers. But I have learned that there is no place like home surrounded by the people I love most, my family and friends, relaxing in the garden with a glass of Prosecco.
There he goes again.
Now I spend my time raising awareness for MND and the amazing community. Martin and I are doing what we can to spread positivity in what can feel like a hopeless situation.
I tell you what, I admire anyone who makes something like this less scary for others, and that is what you have done today. Because these things are terrifying, and you've just made it human and made it normal.
Oh, hi.
And that's so important because any diagnosis like this that's terminal is frightening.
Thank you so much, guys.
No, thank you very much for having us.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning to talk about an issue that's affecting young people more than ever.
Yes, some brand new figures released today reveal that while over 90% of schools actually ban phones during the day, online safety is still a top concern.
So our next guest knows that all too well. At just 13, she was coerced by an older pupil into sending explicit photos, which were then circulated around her school.
Yeah, now at 22, Roxy Longworth is campaigning for more to be done to protect others. And joining her is the Children's Commissioner for England, who's responsible for promoting and protecting the rights of all children. Morning to you both.
Morning.
Thank you both for coming on the
thanks,
show
Roxy.
today.
Rachel, can you expand a little bit about what the Children's Commissioner does?
Yeah, it's an amazing job, and I've been doing it since 2021, and it's a 6-year role. I was a head teacher for 20 years before that. Look, my job is to make sure that children's voices and interests and lives are heard by government, by Parliament. So I'm often doing surveys and taking their voices there. Also, all of the public sector who look after children have to make sure they're doing their job. And I've got a special and most important job, which is to look after the most vulnerable children who live away from home, which means I talk to all the children in prison, all the children who arrive as illegal immigrants, the children in hospital, children in mental health wards, and make sure that their needs have been met. And I run an advocacy service to do that. So there's a lot there.
Huge remit.
It's an amazing job, and it's a privilege to do. And today's issue, I can tell you, I've surveyed more than 1 million children, and online safety, the online world, is at the top of their concerns.
It's absolutely terrifying. And I think, Roxy, thank you for being brave today, coming on to chat about it, because I know this was something that's almost buried in your past. You probably don't like bringing it up, but it's going to help a lot of people today. So thank you for talking to us about it. And this was something that actually happened to you when you were only 13 years old, isn't it?
Yeah. When I was 13, I was coerced and pressured into sending photos to older guy at my school. He was 17 at the time. It's hard to explain because the pressure was so subtle, and you don't realise that someone's in control until it's way too late.
Of course you don't.
Also, the gap between 13 and 17 mentally is so huge. So he, even a young 17-year-old knows exactly what they're doing. When you're 13, you're a child, right? So that pressure, like you said, is just so subtle, right?
Yeah, it was so subtle. He then shared those photos with a friend of his who was also 17, who then blackmailed me with them into sending whatever he wanted, with a threat that otherwise he would spread them around the school.
It's unbelievable because it's so out of your control, and I can feel how that would have spiralled. I can imagine being 13, you've got the older boy, so you're not sure what older people are doing. You're probably there thinking, oh, maybe everyone's sending pictures, maybe that's what I should be doing. You're so young, you don't know. And then before you know it, these pictures are out of your control, and didn't they end up circulating around the entire school?
Yeah, they were sent all around the school, everybody had them. But by that point, I'd been living with that kind of feeling of feeling disgusting and that shame for quite a few months by that point. And then, they were spread everywhere, and the bullying and the humiliation and the shame afterwards just caused my mental health to spiral.
At what point did you open up to your family?
I didn't. It was only when the school called them in and told them that that they found out. I didn't feel like I could go to them just because I felt like they wouldn't understand the online part of my life.
Yeah.
Well, also, even though you shouldn't feel like it, you would feel embarrassed because you don't want to tell your parents things that you're doing like that. I mean, it's very private, and at the time you'd have felt that was you and your boyfriend or this lad sharing something, and it's got way out of hand. I mean, it frightens me. I was at school when it was the Nokia 3210. You couldn't share things like this. It, it does terrify me, the smartphone era, which, I'm sure, Rachel, like you've said, this is now becoming a massive, wider problem, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, the work I've just done, the piece of research I've just done, I basically wanted to get to the bottom of what was happening in schools with phones. Now, I know that's not all of this, and I think Roxy's story has got so much more in it that we need to talk about. But literally, I ordered every school to send me their phone policy. And actually, I was really heartened that pretty much every head teacher had made a really strong attempt to restrict use of phones and ban phones. But that can't be all of it. I think when I listen to Roxy's story, those really careful RSE lessons and the ethos of the school where you're able to open up and have those conversations about the sharing of pictures, things like that, on what to do if that happens to you, who's the trusted adult, how to build that trust both within schools so that children and young people and actually, frankly, 13 is a child are inoculated and supported and taught how to manage that. And we need to be sort of working with parents too. Do you know, one of the things I found out in my survey was that although phones are restricted in most schools, which is great, kids are still spending over half of them spending 2 hours a day on internet-connected phones, and a quarter of them spending 4 hours a day, and that's age 8-year-old up. What I know from my surveys as well, kids get their phone at 11, 10, 9. They're very honest with me. They're seeing hardcore, horrible porn from at that age. They're seeing violence, gore, beheadings, coercive sexual material, suicide ideation material, and parents just don't know.
No.
And we need to help parents understand how to manage this whole thing.
Presumably, a lot of that is safeguards within the phone as well. It's kind of, we did a piece on it yesterday with Alice Beer. It's kind of parents being across the safety features of their phone, and that won't eradicate it, but it will certainly help it. Roxy, let's go back to you. Just before we get to where you are now, which seems like the incredible work you're doing, how did you get yourself out of this? What happened to turn your mental health around? What happened to turn the circumstance and situation around?
I mean, it really ruined me at the time. I ended up being hospitalised and spending most of my year 10 at school on suicide watch.
Oh my God.
And the saddest part for me is that I then I really did lose the rest of my teenage years just because of the shame. It kept me so isolated. I felt like I was the only person in the world who'd messed up and ruined my life, and I just felt disgusting. And that was the hardest bit, I think, looking back, is just so much time wasted feeling like that. When actually, like, from what you're saying, it's not unique. So many people feel, whether or not, it's not about the specifics of the situation, like, people see things that make them uncomfortable or sad, and then there's that shame around it that's just ridiculous. There shouldn't be that.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's so good. So literally last Sunday, just gone, you've set up a website. It's called Behind Our Screens. So people can Google that, look for that, Behind Our Screens. Just talk us through what that is and what it does.
Yeah, so it's this platform where I'm trying to encourage young people to anonymously share their experiences growing up online so that we can amplify young people's voices. For two reasons, really. Firstly, because of that wasted time feeling ashamed, got to kind of encourage more open, more honest conversations around this stuff so that people aren't, like, the fact, I don't want that 13-year-old sat in their room feeling ashamed of whatever they've seen or experienced. I don't want that. So having more open and honest conversations. And secondly, because I realised how big the gap was between our generation and adults. And like to try and bridge that gap so that young people's real lived experiences is what's informing the education on this stuff, the regulation, and so that parents really understand what we're actually seeing, because it's evolving so quickly. So we kind of need this like constant feedback loop where
It's updated.
Yeah,
constantly.
exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I think
Rachel, from your point of view, sorry, what support at the moment is out there for parents and children?
So look, there are loads of websites, Internet Watch, Ours, NSPCC. Particularly, I want to talk to any child who's experiencing or young person who's experiencing what Roxy experienced. Get on that NSPCC website. But most importantly, parents need to be talking to their children, and actually getting them to open up and talk about what their experiences are. If that happens early enough, we can avoid what happened to Roxy happening at all. So I think there's two things. There's the support that we can get from websites, from charities. Every head teacher is safeguarding trained, the police are safeguarding trained. There should be adults you can turn to. But I think the education point, the young people and the peer support point is really, really important. But for me, the fundamentally most important thing is it's parents and children. We've got to get those conversations happening, because that's, when I did I brought a couple of hundred 18 to 21-year-olds into the Department for Education where my office is, and I asked them, what do you wish, you're the first generation that's grown up with tech, what do you wish your parents had known? And do you know what they said? They said, we wish that they'd not given us phones too young. We wish that they kept us off some of those apps too young and helped us go out to play. We want to be able to talk to them about the things we're seeing and the things we're happening without us getting into trouble or having our kit taken off us. Don't let us have our phones in bed at night. And that's the children. And I asked them an absolute killer question. I said, if it was your little sister, or when you have children, and this is 18 to 21-year-olds, are you going to give them, unfettered access to the internet and apps to go? And they were 100% no.
This is the thing. Technology's happened so quickly. Parents aren't always up to speed with it all. That phone or tablet has got access to the world. There's too much power in that one little phone. And I'm hoping, and I thank you both for coming on today, because if there's one parent now watching, it's the Easter holidays, all I'm thinking is, just listen to what you've both said and go into those phones and have that conversation. And let's just get all those things sorted out. Let's look at what apps are on there. Let's put some restrictions in, because we need to protect our children from what they can access. Absolutely.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much. Brilliant.
Thank you.
If you've been affected by anything we mentioned today, help's available via the free This Morning website. Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Look, before we do all of that, we've got the latest social media craze, which has actually sadly lent to a load of growing numbers of young people jumping on this tanning trend.
Yeah, teenagers are proudly posting videos that showing off their tan lines and documenting their sunbathe habits, which has led to a 43% surge in 18 to 25-year-olds using sunbeds.
Yes, so after using tanning beds regularly since she was 16 years old, our next guest was just 19 when she was diagnosed with melanoma. Georgia Edwards is joining us now alongside Dr. Nigat to tell us more.
Hiya, Georgia.
Georgia, thank you for coming on talking about this today, because this is hopefully going to send a really positive message out to a lot of young people that maybe made your mistakes. Yes, so what got you into using tanning beds and sunbeds?
I think I was just really young, loved having a tan, without having the faff of doing it in your bedroom and it being all sticky. And me and my friends used to just go together to sunbed shops and have a quick 10-minute tan. You feel like you've gone to Spain and back. And I think it became addictive. The more I would see tan lines and I'd see how much more tanned I was getting each sunbed. I think that's probably the main reason.
How old were you when you started? 16?
Yeah, 16.
So it's a kind of impressional age where you're with your friends and,
Yeah.
You're olive-skinned, right? So you tan pretty easy anyway, do you?
Yes, I do, yeah. So
was that exacerbated when you have a sunbed? If you're olive-skinned, would you see it quite like
Yeah,
more
definitely.
noticeable?
Yeah, so I went on holiday with my friends when I was 16 and I was like a complete different colour to them because I'd been sunbedding loads so that I was tanned before I even got on holiday.
And this is the thing, so many girls use that logic, I'll get a pre-tan before the holiday tan, and then, obviously it's not good for you at all, but when you're 16, you don't really think about the bad stuff that could happen? You probably weren't aware of any of the risks, were you, at the time?
No. I think I was just young and naive, and I think you think, oh, it's a lot of older people that it will happen to, or oh, I'm too young for it to kind of hit me, until it did, I guess.
Do you get ID'd? Because if you're under 16, you, obviously it shouldn't be happening. So did you get ID'd at the time?
No. So you could go into a shop, pop a card into a coin machine, and just top up however many minutes you'd like each sunbed. And I used to use different sunbed shops, and I don't think I was ID'd in any of them.
Wow. And so you were using the sunbeds. At what point did you start either feeling different or noticing something different?
So probably about a year after using sunbeds, I noticed a mole on my upper thigh, and it just looked a little bit red and bloody. But I had a dog at the time. I thought she might have just scratched me. And then it kind of did start to change a lot more. And then I happened to go to the doctors for something else and got them to check it over. And then they did put me on the 2-week kind of pathway where you're then seen to have a biopsy done quite quickly.
And then what happened? Did things happen quite quickly off the back of that?
Yeah, so they said it would be about 4-week wait until I found out. And I think it was actually about 5 in the end. And I was actually at work when I found out. I worked in the hospital. So they came and got me, and I kind of found out then. And luckily my mum was also, she works in the same hospital, so she could come down. But yeah, they told me there and then. And I kind of knew when I got in there because there was a Macmillan cancer nurse sitting there. So I think I just kind of knew at the time.
Oh, bless you, I got sort of a bit goosebumpy there, because that's not the news you were expecting at all.
No.
So once you got told that, then how quickly was it like, right, we need to start treating this, or can we treat it?
Yeah, so they offered me 2 different hospitals I could go to, and then I went to one, and they actually said, actually, we think you're best placed at the Royal Marsden instead. So when I was, it's amazing.
Yeah, my dad's brilliant.
Yeah, and it's quite close to me in Sutton as well, so that was really good actually. So I then had quite a few appointments with consultants and surgeons, and then I had quite a large surgery where they took out a lot more of my leg, and I've left with quite a big scar.
So they had to physically remove?
Yeah, so they removed a lot more of the skin deeper. So the biopsy that they took, there was kind of, they know that there's melanoma all the way through that, so then they have to keep going until they've kind of got it all out.
Dr. Nick, let's bring you in. I mean, Georgia seems like almost a poster girl for this, because she knows that, she now knows the risks. She's speaking brilliantly about it. But the telling sellers, so a lot of them are touting kind of, I suppose, the vitamin D, the wellness side of it, yeah? So is there ever a safe
no,
sunbed?
Categorically, I can say there is never a safe amount of sunbed use at all. So the Cancer Research UK have done lots of research, and international bodies have done lots of research on sunbeds. And they have categorised that because it's artificial UV light, it damages the DNA in the cells. Wherever you get damage, you're going to get inflammation.
Because it's artificial.
It's artificial. Sun also can cause that as well, and we'll come on to that as well. But this is intense amount that you're using for a purpose which actually you're using no other protection for, because when you use sunbeds, you're not supposed to put any sun cream on, no other. And I've actually heard stories of people putting on oil to get into sunbed. Georgia agrees with me. And that level of UV light damages the DNA, causes inflammation. When you get that, you get a breakdown in the cells and mistakes, and that turns into cancer. So using a sunbed is that carcinogenic equivalent to, say, tobacco or asbestos, which are also, we already know, as carcinogenics as well.
How are they legal?
I know. And this is, I think, the battle that we've got, because there is this, I would say, medical myth of providing it wellness, vitamin D, almost slimming beds, tanning beds as well, makes you look skinnier, and then fat busts as well, and gets rid of, works as a fat metabolizer. None of those have been founded at all. Unfortunately, you're always going to get individuals that have anecdotal, it won't work for me, and this is how I feel, and then that spreads like wildfire. And unfortunately, there is a lot of misinformation when it comes to things like using sun cream, which is rife as well, which we need to tackle.
Well, let's go through it. Symptoms of melanoma, what should we be looking out for? And is there anything else on our skin we need to be keeping an eye out?
Well, some of them Georgia already highlighted. So in the NHS, I always say use a B, C, D, E criteria. So we're looking for asymmetry. Does it have a raggedy border? Then B, border, what is it like? Is it sort of, raggedy on the edges? Does it look like someone's almost tattooed you and
Like that.
spreading artificially? Yeah, like that on the skin. Then C, colour. Are there any two different colours, two-tone colours that you're looking for? And this is really important because if you're looking at black and brown skin, it might not appear like that. It might actually not appear red. It might appear tan or even just darker brown, so have that acuity as well. Then D, diameter. Put a ruler next to it. Is it greater than, say, 6 millimetres? Then that needs to be checked out. And E, evolving. So does it rapidly change within a couple of days? And this is where your phones, your handy iPhones, are going to come into great use. So photograph, capture every mole, every skin lesion, because you might not notice the evolution. And you don't need to have all of them at the same time. You could just have evolution, so the evolving bit of the mole, and that would be an indicator to come in and get it checked out.
Wow, I mean, I think that the message is clear then that some beds, no matter where you're using them, what type you're using, they're not safe, they're not recommended at all.
And keep an eye on your skin, keep an eye on your loved one. The NHS has got a great app called Skin Vision that you can download for free and photograph your mole, and it uses AI tech to tell you, OK, this needs to go to a healthcare professional. So I know access can be a little bit tricky, but the AI technology is only going to be as good as if we get a lot of people putting their skin on. So I need, like, people from ethnic minorities, black and Asian skin, olive skin, putting that in, because then we can teach that to pick it up early. And the data shows that the earlier you pick it up, the better the prognosis.
And people protecting our skin, obviously 30, what,
SPF, factor 50 sun cream as well, and look out for sunspots. So something called actinic keratosis, have an eye out for those. There's a small chance of actinic keratosis turning into, like, 10% chance of a squamous cell carcinoma. So getting those easily removed. In the NHS, there's a cream that we can put on that zaps it away, or equally we can send you to a dermatologist. But sunscreen, always use sunscreen every single time.
Georgia, how are you now?
I'm good.
Yeah?
8 years, cancer-free. So I've got 2 more years of checkups. Up to 10 years. And then as long as all is OK in the next 2 years, then no more checkups
Good
needed.
to hear. Thanks for coming on.
So much for sharing that. Very brave of you.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now, our next guest made headlines last week after receiving a suspended sentence for trafficking drugs into the UK.
So Levi Wally is a former nurse turned influencer who regularly posted about the jet-set lifestyle on social media. So when she was offered an all-expenses-paid trip to New York with a best friend in exchange for carrying a suitcase full of watches, she couldn't resist.
But after travelling back to the UK, officers at Birmingham Airport uncovered £160,000 worth of cannabis in their luggage.
So despite evading prison time, she says her life has been ruined and she faces losing her nursing career for good. So could they really not have known what they were signing up for? She joins us now. Levi, thank you for coming on and chatting about the story. I know it's taken a lot for you to come here, so we appreciate that. So I think most people that are watching or know about the story would say... they believe you sort of knew what you were getting yourself into from the start. So can you tell us how you got into this?
So it was my friend. She was approached online. She met a girl in Marbella. She messaged my friend. She said, would you like to go to New York and carry some suitcases back? It's just watches. All the expenses have paid. And you will get some money in return as well. And then she discussed it with me and my friend, and then we decided together to come to that conclusion that we would do it. We weren't really thinking about the consequences as such at the time. It seemed a brilliant idea. We were already travelling a lot, me and my friend, that year. I decided to do a year of I wanted to travel as much as I could. I'd done my nursing career since I was 18. So I just wanted to travel as much as I could that year. So this seemed like a great opportunity. So we then decided to do it.
Was there part of you that just buried what the consequences and what might be in that suitcase? Because even if it's watches, why are you bringing back 2 suitcases full of watches?
Absolutely. I think I went with the idea that I wanted to go to New York, and it's this glamorous type of lifestyle. And I just thought, why not? I think I forgot what I was actually doing.
Were you thinking, I mean, even if it's watches and it's illegal, what harm can it do if I'm taking watches back to
I weren't really thinking about the consequences as such. I was thinking about going to New York and having the holiday. It wasn't until And the day on return, you had to think about what you was actually doing. So when we actually went to New York, we just enjoyed the holiday. And then on the return, you was then given the case. So then it was, right, what are we actually doing here?
Yeah, because I suppose that's the reality. Up until then, it's probably been DMs and WhatsApps or whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't feel as real.
No.
Then you're at an airport and what, 2 big bags are being handed over to you?
Yes, absolutely.
And you're the ones taking that home half thinking now, what have we got ourselves into?
Yeah, I think at that point we was like, this is definitely not watches.
But why didn't you back out at that point, do you think?
I think we felt we was too far deep. The people that we was doing it for, they knew a lot about us.
Were you scared?
Yeah, I was scared. I was definitely scared. I just felt like I was just too far deep. There was at the point of no return, really. Yeah.
So then you had to sort of see it out, which was when you landed.
Yeah.
You just knew something wasn't right. As that carousel came through and your bags, were they the last to come through or something?
They came out, but on the carousel, they came out totally different compared to the rest. Everyone else's bag was like laid flat. Our cases came out upright. So I think at that point we knew... at that point, I still thought, can we walk away from here? But we still decided to go ahead and get the suitcases off and walk through customs at that point.
So take us back to New York. How many days were you in New York for?
3 days.
OK, so in New York, all expenses paid, having a great time.
Yeah.
Did you ever have, like, I don't know, dinner with your friend and just sit down and go, are we worried about this? Are we sure we're doing the right thing? Or were you just blinkered by what we're seeing now, which is you having a lovely time and looking nice in pictures?
I think I was... It wasn't until literally the last day. The last day we then thought, right, what
you buried your head in the sand?
Yeah, I was just enjoying the holiday. I wasn't really thinking much.
And did you not think, like, when your mate... what's your friend's
Sophie.
When Sophie said to you, we've got this opportunity to go to New York, and it's someone I met on Instagram, I know you've done a bit of influencing and so forth, but are you not thinking, how can we trust someone we've just met on Instagram? Like, it just seems crazy.
Yeah, Sophie knew the girl, and the girl had already done the same trip, and there was various of other girls that she showed that had done the same trip, and when we'd done the...
Did they know what they were getting themselves into, do you think?
I don't think so, no. And I think even going forward, a lot of people that would probably be poached to do the exactly same thing, they'll be given a completely different story.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think they knew what they was getting themselves into at all.
And Leva, I suppose, when you've heard that other people have done it, again, a bit like you're saying with the DMs and everything, you're not thinking of the reality, you're just seeing the result.
Yeah, absolutely. For me at the time, I just wanted to get away as much as I possibly could, and it just seemed an opportunity that I didn't want to miss out on, really. Yeah.
But then the reality was, it must have been a hard-hitting moment when you realise you're actually in trouble with the law. Absolutely, this is a lot bigger than you maybe initially thought.
Yeah.
And you've got to tell your family what's happened.
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember when we were at the airport and when we did get caught, I felt my whole world had crashed down. I knew at that point I'd absolutely really messed up.
So you saw your bags aside from the carousel. You then taken aside by customs?
Yes, we were. Yeah, and then we was asked where we'd been, where we'd travelled to. So we'd said New York, and they said, "Why have you been to New York?" So we said a shopping trip, and then that's when they asked if we packed our suitcases.
What'd you say to that?
I can't remember if we said yes or no, but then they did ask us for the combination at the time, and none of us knew the combination because we wasn't actually able to even get in the suitcases. I think that's at the point at New York when we knew what we were doing. This is illegal, what we're doing. This isn't right. But we didn't know the combination, so they then forced the bags open, and that's at that point.
And are you looking then at £160,000 worth? So that's the view that you saw when you opened it?
Yeah, it were, yeah.
That's just, your bottom falls out of your world then, right?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, my heart, it just sank. It absolutely sank, yeah.
So when you went to get sentenced, were you thinking this is sort of it now?
So, we wasn't even charged with the offence straight away. We was released on bail. We wasn't charged until January this year. So we've had 13 months without an actual even charge, which was quite difficult because we've had to like literally rebuild our whole life. I went into work voluntarily and said, I've been arrested, even though I hadn't actually been charged with the offence. I voluntarily went in and said that I've been arrested. So straight away, I worked in the private sector. It wasn't actually the NHS, and I was dismissed straight away. So I had to sort of rebuild my whole life, because they then informed the nursing council. So since then, I've had to, a job that I've always done, I've had to rebuild my whole life.
Are you nursing now?
No, straight away, because I was honest and went straight in. They dismissed me straight away, and then I had to do courses myself and try and rebuild my life. I did like a facial course, aesthetics course, and I've had to just build my life from then. Something I've always done.
The tragedy is you've got, you know, you've got a qualification there that would be so valuable to society.
Yeah.
It's your decision whether you want to use it or not.
Yeah.
But it just seems so tragic that that's wasted now.
It's upsetting, yeah, it is. It's upsetting because I loved being a nurse and I loved looking after people. And unfortunately, for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to face this consequence of, you know, it's resulted in for the rest of my life affecting me now. Because people have had some comments to say.
Well, listen, the Pitchfork Brigade are always going to be the Pitchfork Brigade. But do you not feel, like, how do you feel?
I feel destroyed by it. I don't want to play the victim though, because you know I did have the opportunity probably to pull out, and I still did choose to go ahead and do it. So I'm going to have to pay the rest of my life for that, and yeah, I'm destroyed by it. I am really destroyed.
Are you surprised you didn't go to prison?
Yes, I am surprised. I did go with my bag packed ready. I had my numbers in the book. I had everything ready.
God, the relief of that.
Yeah. I did expect prison, but because of certain mitigating factors, which going forward to make awareness for people, because some people may think that, like, oh, they've got away with this, maybe we'd get away with it. I just want to make it aware that not everyone might get a suspended sentence.
Well, this is it. And actually, if you'd been stopped in America, 2013, the average sentence for marijuana trafficking was 37 months. 90.6% were arrested in prison, but maximum prison term could have been 5 years, more than 5 years and less than 10 years.
And it feels, what I would say, very frustrating that in some ways it was all just for social media. It was for the pictures. Like Dermot said, you had an incredible career path to be a nurse, to be a midwife. And so was it almost this strange societal pressure that, you know, like you say, not many people are going to feel sorry for you in this situation.
No, which is fine.
Because of, you know, some of it feels a bit like it was obvious what was going to happen. However, you did do it, and you're not the first person to make a mistake in life. But what was that urge to be showing off on social media? Where did that come from?
I think it's the society that we live in today. It's the society that we live in today. It's all an image. And reflecting back on my life now, I see it totally different. At the time, even though this image looked glamorous, I would definitely say my life now, I want to be more quiet. I want to take a different route in things.
You're off social media now?
No, I'm still on it.
Do you not think you should be off it? It's your decision, but
I think
give it a rest and get on with your life.
Yeah, well, to be honest, with all the bad press that we've had, I've not even responded to the press. It was my birthday the day after, so I was just reposting posts that friends maybe had put on, but I haven't responded to anything anyone said. I've kept very quiet with this. So it was just today where I wanted to speak my side of the story about it, but I just want to make awareness to people.
I was going to say, what do you want to get out of this? So
out of this, I want to make people aware that, you know, it's hard to we want to make people aware that at certain times people may appear that they have this glamorous lifestyle, but you can have some vulnerability as well. And I think at the time, even people might disagree because we look like we were smiling and happy. Normal people wouldn't agree to go and taking a suitcase. Like if I was to ask certain friends, oh, would you bring a suitcase back? They'd say absolutely not. So that shows that there was some instability in ourselves. So I want to make people aware that if you're asked or given these type of opportunities to change your life that we was given, really think about the consequences going forward.
Well,
yeah.
listen, we wish you the very best luck for the future.
Thank you.
And we hope you can rebuild your life and you and your family are happy, all right?
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning. Is currently experiencing a shortage of ADHD medication affecting both adults and children who rely on it to help them manage their symptoms on a daily basis.
Yeah, but with demand expected to exceed supply of some drugs into the summer, could our next guest experience perhaps take some of that pressure off?
Yeah, so when 49-year-old Joanne Berland was diagnosed with ADHD last year, she felt an overwhelming sense of relief.
Yes, but rather than starting medication to manage her condition, Joanne says that actually her symptoms were already being addressed by a different drug altogether, her weight loss jab. This is fascinating. She joins us now alongside GP Dr. Hussain. I mean, it's hard to know where to start with all this, isn't it? I've never heard of anything like it. Well, first of all, let's ask you how it all came about, because when did you get diagnosed with ADHD?
So I was diagnosed last year. I had to wait 3.5 years for my diagnosis. I realised I've been training to be a counsellor.
Yeah.
And in that first year, you have a lot of self-reflection and a lot of just working on yourself. And it kind of dawned on me then.
Had you known for a while? Had you suspected for a while?
Not so much. I've just always been a bit quirky. I've always...
But who isn't, right? So, yeah.
Exactly. But I've always felt like the third wheel in a friendship. I've always felt different to other people and not felt like I've fitted in, really, like my whole life.
Sure. So when you were on the weight loss jab, do you think that's reduced the symptoms of ADHD?
It's certainly helped me. I am notoriously unorganised, trying my best to be organised. Constantly got this narrative in my head because I'm not as organised as everyone else seems. Yeah. So it's just like this constant berating.
I imagine this is ringing a lot of bells in homes around the country right now.
Absolutely. And I just realised once I'd started taking it that kind of quietened. The chatter that was going on in my head kind of subsided. And I just got more focused. I just got more, I gained more concentration. I was just able to do things.
So you started taking the weight loss jabs before you'd even had your diagnosis, right?
Yeah.
So you're taking the jabs, you're noticing a change in your weight, and then you're feeling different.
Yeah.
And then is that when you sort of did put the two together and thought, well, this seems to be having an effect here?
Not so much. So I was on Mounjaro for about 5 or 6 months. So
that's the weight loss jab, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. And I had to come off for financial reasons because the cost was going up and up. And it was then when I was off that I actually started to realise
that your symptoms were coming back of your ADHD.
Exactly.
And then you got diagnosed.
Exactly.
Wow. Sure. Let's bring Dr. Hussain in. So people watching here, perhaps the ADHD themselves, asking right now, is this possible? So from a medical point of view, where are we with it?
So, like as a headline at the top, we don't want people switching over to these injections because as of yet, we haven't got definitive, concrete evidence to support this. If we are going to ever license a medication for an indication, it has to be really robust. We need lots of data, fully understanding how it's utilised, etc. However, if we look at anecdotal evidence from quite a few different patients across different countries, we are seeing a trend where they're noticing improvements in symptoms around attention, impulsivity, etc. And already, GLP-1s, which is the class of medication that these weight loss injections sit under, are being investigated in, for example, ADHD, as well as gambling, alcohol addiction. Because if we look at it theoretically, GLP-1 is a hormone that our body naturally produces, and it works at different sites, including, yes, cravings for food, but in other mechanisms in our dopamine and our reward systems, we have these receptors at other areas of our brain. So it's not surprising to see other effects. Only time and really robust evidence will be able to support whether we can utilise it in other spheres. But I would not be surprised if we do not see, as the years go on, further indications outside of type 2 diabetes and weight loss. as we better understand this medication.
Because the focus it gives you, because you're not worried as much about those things.
Yeah, like there's different proposed mechanisms by why we see these improvements. It could be that it's a direct action of the hormone on receptors in areas of the brain. It could be that as we see weight reduce, we know that excess weight causes impairment on memory, on attention. The inflammation that it leads to the body is there. It could also be that the improved motivation and self-esteem and mental health that you get from having progress with your weight journey, that could also play. So there's lots of complex interplays that are here, and it's unknown which one is more important than the other. And that's where randomized control trials can try to pick out what is it about these medications or the weight loss journey that's having this effect. Because we do see, just in weight loss from other realms, let's say lifestyle interventions, they also see improvements in ADHD symptoms as well. So there's lots of elements to explore here, but very interesting science.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm seeing what you're saying. It could just be the healthy lifestyle change, but it could also be something a bit deeper than that. I know friends that have used the weight loss jabs, and they've said it quietens the noise around food and thinking about food all day. For you, Joanne, was that how you felt?
Absolutely. And I received an email from a lady, and because I shared my story.
Yes.
And she's just been diagnosed. She's 60 years old, and she's also on weight loss jabs. And she said for the first time in her life, she's just got clarity. She's just got that space that she's able to get on with things. And for me, personally, that's exactly what it enabled me to do.
Because we asked ADHD about your experience, and they said it's a relatively new topic that needs research, like you just touched on, Doctor. But it's important, as people with ADHD are 70% more likely to be obese. So if you extrapolate there, the link to improved ADHD symptoms might be indirect, a consequence of lower weight rather than weight loss. So, Doctor, when you say we need to know more and trials, how long do those, I mean, it's like how long's a piece of string, right? But how long do trials normally take before the medical scientific community go, OK, we do see that as a kind of proven fact?
Yeah. So generally, trials have 3 phases. The first phase is to prove, is the medication safe? Prove that. The second phase, you look at, is it effective at the indication that you're exploring? So this is where you do randomized control, you compare it against placebo in patient group, for example, ADHD, and you see, is there a clinical effect there? Then the final phase is trying to understand the impact and other side effects that when you're giving it to more people, you will start to identify. Because only when it's a few hundred, you're not going to pick up some of the rarer side effects. Once you've done all those 3 phases, how long does that take? Anywhere from at least 3 to 4 years to sometimes 10, 15. It all depends on what evidence comes about and how quickly that comes.
Right.
Yeah, I suppose that's one thing to stress, isn't it, today? And it's so interesting, Joanne, hearing what you're saying. And I'm sure it's going to start a lot of new research. But for people watching right now with ADHD, just to stress that this is not something we're suggesting you try.
Absolutely not. No, there's lots of good evidence for the medications that we've got at the moment, but also a lot of lifestyle interventions that you can do to support that. Go on the ADHD UK website. There's lots of information there to search. But yes, this is an interesting area, and they've already started research in this area, but it will take time to get the results.
So thank you both.
And thanks, Joanne. That's so brave of you to speak out about it.
Really great. Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Well, Steve, and the real-life inspiration behind the film, Tom Michelle, join us now on This Morning.
Morning, chaps.
Can I just say, when I heard about this story, all I kept saying, it's a true story. It's an actual true story. How did you first hear about the story, Steve?
Well, Tom here wrote a book called The Penguin Lessons many years ago, and Jeff Pope, who's my colleague and sometime co-writer, I was working with him on another project, and he said, I'm writing this screenplay based on this book about Tom Michelle. Do you want to play him? And my initial reaction was, I don't want to be in a sort of cuddly, cute movie about a penguin. That's not really my thing.
Yeah.
But we talked about perhaps taking Tom's story and adapting it and bringing in some other elements. And one of the main liberties we took is that we made my character... Tom's quite a decent chap. Mostly decent. And,
you don't know me that well.
I know. That's give you the benefit of the doubt. But what we did was we made my character... My version of Tom, more cynical, if you like, and disengaged and a bit more selfish.
Yeah.
And the penguin that Tom really did rescue, as depicted in the film, becomes a catalyst for my character to learn to be less cynical and a more productive, kind member of society.
So, Tom, you're set in Argentina, and you were there teaching in the 70s, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So what brought you there in the first place?
As a youngster, I'd always wanted to travel. My family had various members scattered around the globe. And South America was one place that none of the family had any connection with.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to go there. I wanted to go and a real tierra incognita. And when I saw an advert in a newspaper for a teacher in a public school in Argentina, I wrote and said, look no further, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And because of the chaos in Argentina, I imagine they had no other applicants. So that's why I got the job.
Because this is it. It's set in the backdrop of the turmoil, the military dictatorship and so forth.
Yes, I mean, it was the end of the Peronist regime, and the country was in chaos. We had inflation running at 100% a month. Nothing worked, electricity, trade, and everybody said, it's a bad time to go because of the economics, because there's going to be a coup, and I just couldn't wait to get out there. I didn't want it to happen before I got there.
Yeah.
But when you wrote the story, you initially put it out there for free, didn't you?
Well, yes. I mean, when I came back to England and had my children of my own, when they were tackers, bedtime stories were about Juan Salvador the penguin. And they grew up. And my wife came to think, you must write that story down because they're going to want to tell their children, and you'll be dead at the time, something cheerful like that, and they will want to know. So I wrote it out, and more people kept saying, oh, can we read it? And my printer was, expensive, so I put it up on Kindle, so I could just say, go and look it up. And I didn't believe anybody would find it, because if you search Penguin, what comes up is 20th century literature, or whatever, published by Penguin. And within days, less than a week, I got an email from Animal Planet, Disney's production, saying, can we talk about this?
Wow.
And my jaw hit the floor. Again, I mean, everything associated with this penguin has dominated my life from the day I picked it up. And it's been an extraordinary journey.
And how much of what you see, Steve's depiction of you, how much of that resonates with you? Were you, at the time, were you quite weary about life? Or?
No, absolutely not. I was in my early 20s, and I wanted to travel, and in many ways, Steve's character is the antithesis of mine.
Yeah.
I was young, he was somewhat older. Our motives for doing things were entirely different. But the film about the penguin, which, and it is exactly as it is in the book, and they've done a brilliant job on that. But Steve brings something to the character which is much more interesting than a 23-year-old, because it has colour and variety and change.
Yeah. So this is real footage. This is real footage.
This is real footage.
You in the 70s with this penguin. This is the real penguin.
This is Juan Salvador.
So Steve, was the
AI could never have produced it because you can identify the members of staff at the college.
Oh my God! So Steve, was the penguin in the film? Was it robotic, or how did you do it?
No, there were lots of all real penguins. We never used any CGI penguins. There was one robot penguin. Whenever the penguin was required to do something distressing, then we'd use the robot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's quite believable. I carry it around in a bag, and that's I'm supposed to be spoiling it for people, really. But if I throw it into the sea, there, I'm not throwing a real penguin into the sea. So we had sort of fake ones and real ones. But most of the time it was two real penguins called Baba and Richard, who were a couple because penguins mate for life. And
bitey?
What?
Were they bitey?
One of them was a bit bitey. Richard, if he had a bad morning and I was being too friendly with him or petting him too much, would nip me, flick his head around and nip my... But I kind of liked that because I had to work harder for his affection. I don't want it to be too easy. But he treated me mean, kept me keen.
And Tom, when you were there and you found the penguin on a week in Uruguay, is that right? Yeah. Did you try and put it back in the ocean?
I did. It was one penguin was alive on this beach full of dead penguins. And my initial reaction was, perhaps I can clean it up and release it again. So I took it back to the flat, washed it, cleaned it, got most of the tar off. And then... I didn't want a pet. I didn't want an animal to look after. It was far too difficult. So I tried to release it. And I tried really quite hard, and it would not go. And it kept coming back to me. And, you know, in the back of my mind was this voice saying, you've washed out its waterproofing, it can't survive in the sea.
Yeah.
So you've taken the responsibility of cleaning it, now you've got to look after it.
Yeah.
I was due to go back to Argentina and start teaching, so I thought, well, it's got to come with me, hasn't it?
What did the boys make of this at the school about the penguin? You know,
Well,
like
any animal and children, they were like magnets. They attracted each other, and so looking after the penguin became quite easy for me because the boys would, a full boarding school. The boys would go up to the market and buy sprats, which I paid for, but it was mere nothing, and they would feed it and they would wash down the terrace, and it was really good for the boys who weren't particularly stars at rugby or academically or whatever. And it was a lovely time watching them.
That's amazing. I just cannot get over that this is a true story.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, last night, one of the boys from the school at the time was in the audience. He was an invitee of mine. And we were just saying he's probably the only person, certainly there last night, but perhaps in the country at the moment, who witnessed that penguin and fed him, apart from me, which was actually rather nice to have him there.
It was, yeah. So it was, I mean, having the penguins on set was actually, there's that old adage in show business, don't work with animals or children. And I worked with both of them. On this, and but the penguin actually was a really calming experience because it gave us, rather than it being chaotic, it sort of kept everyone calm because you're not allowed to shout and.
Well, you've got to keep very quiet. Have you?
Everyone has to be very serene, so it actually calmed everything down rather than made everything chaotic.
Tom, just before we go, it's so lovely the story that you wrote it for your children. You put it on Kindle, but the fact that it's been adapted now and as a film,
Well,
Steve and
yes,
Jeff haven't.
This little incident 50-odd years ago has just kept multiplying and multiplying. From a few people knowing about it to tens, to hundreds, to thousands, and now the film is going to be hundreds of thousands or even millions of people. It's the most extraordinary journey.
Yeah, and the book's still out.
Oh yeah. The Penguin Lessons. Yes, it's there.
Available in print and Kindle.
Well, yes, and what do I say? It's easy to remember Penguin Lessons in schools and what did one learn from a penguin.
Thank you,
and
Steve.
a wholesome thing we can watch at the cinema. Lovely that you can go and watch with your family.
Absolutely. The Penguin Lessons is released in the cinema on the 18th of April. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
In the last year alone, more than £11 million has been lost to holiday scammers.
Someone who knows only too well just how advanced these scams can be is Marion Tyler, who thought she was on the phone to her travel company, but actually was speaking directly to scammers, leaving her £2,000 out of pocket.
Yeah, Marion and her daughter-in-law, Marie, join us now alongside our consumer editor, Alice Beard. Good morning, Alice. Good morning, Marion Marie. Thank you for joining us.
Morning. Morning.
So, Marion, you were a victim of this holiday scam. Tell us what happened.
Well, I booked a holiday for myself, my daughter and her two children to go to Lanzarote in August. And I booked it online with Love Holidays. And then that was the beginning of January. And then in the middle of January, I managed to save a few pounds. And I decided I would go on to Love Holidays and ask them if I paid that off, where does it leave me with my next payment in February? So I Googled the number. I talked into my phone, as I always do, and I said, telephone number, Love Holidays, and the number came up. And it even had the little logo, although it turned out it wasn't exactly the same. But I phoned up and I told them my name and I told them my reference number. And from that, the girl was able to tell me all about my holiday. She was able to tell me where I was going, when I was going, who was going, that I was a lead passenger, right down to, she said, oh, I see that you're going all-inclusive. That'll be great with you with the children. That'll take the pressure off.
So it sounded very legitimate. It sounded like you're actually speaking to Love Holidays.
Yeah, I really thought I was because of that. And then she said, I have good news for you today. I can give you £500 off if you pay £2,000 today. So that's a lot of money, £500 off. So I did. And then the next day I went on and there was nothing paid off the holiday. So I then went into a state of complete panic and everything. And it all started from there. And then it got all very, very confusing because I then contacted the same number and they assured me, no. She said, I will actually transfer £1,000 over now to your holiday. And she said, she says, I can actually transfer the whole amount over and then you pay it off. So I was then doubting, was it a scam? Was it not a scam? But anyway, they phoned me all that day about 14 times and then they WhatsApped me, but they were on WhatsApp and she was phoning me constantly, but I didn't pay any more money. And it turns out eventually, it's a long thing, but it turns out eventually what happened was they had done a charge back, and I never knew that was a thing. They were always going, it wouldn't have mattered if they'd have paid the whole money off the holiday, they were always going to recharge it back.
Right. And it was Marie, you came in and helped your mum realise it was a scam, didn't you?
Yeah, no, it was getting really confusing and upsetting for Marion when she realised, and she keeps saying, I feel really stupid. And I don't feel stupid because it's an easy mistake to make with the phone number side of things. And even if I think a lot of us would say, if someone told me to transfer money, that would be an alarm bell for me. But even if you hadn't transferred the £2,000, what was really worrying was that every time Marion was in touch with the legitimate Love Holidays company by going to the website and getting the right number, which unfortunately she hadn't done on that particular day, then what transpired every day was that they were actually hijacking her entire holiday. Every day, even after putting into place the measures that Love Holidays recommended, which was change the email address, add a password to the account, every day they were still able to go in and make changes to her holiday, and we couldn't understand why. And it wasn't until I escalated things through their CEO office, through my other social media accounts, that I was able to get hold of someone, because the usual contacts, I wasn't getting anywhere. They basically, us on a call together, discovered that the reason that they were able to do that was because they're accessing a cached URL, which essentially means if you log in once on a particular device, you're not re-authenticated to get back in. So sorry if I'm being a bit too techie, but ultimately we're all used to this, right? You do two-factor authentication all the time. You might get code or so the way it works with not just Love Holidays, most holiday providers, when you go in and you log into your account to manage your booking, certainly for the first time, you'll get sent an email, that's normally the route, with a link. You click that link and you access your holiday. But what was happening in this instance was, because the hackers got in the first time, it didn't matter that she changed her email or added a password, because they were accessing the same link. But one last thing I should just quickly say as well, that on the back of us finding all of this out, that when we spoke to the team about, look, it's clear that the booking reference is the unique identifier here on the URL. Can we just change the booking? And they weren't able to do that until media got involved.
So let's just
it's
talk
incredibly
to
sophisticated. You can see
let's talk to the viewers. Like, how can we stop this?
Incredibly complex. Okay, and it was a scam, and it was very, very deceptive. First of all, online, there are lots of companies mimicking other companies with a misspelling or a hyphen or just anything that is slightly different. And calling using your Google app will get you through to one of those companies if they've moved themselves up high enough. Now, Love Holidays have said they're very sorry for the stress and inconvenience that Marion's experienced. She did call a number not associated with Love Holidays. They've worked hard to secure her booking to avoid a similar situation occurring. They're also paying extra for ads on Google to stop the scammers from placing ads above them with false contact details. So please be very careful who you are calling. There are mimics for those companies out there, and without knowing, you are really helping them by giving extra information. If the scammer is on the phone and they say, how do you spell your surname? How do you spell your mother's maiden name again? They don't know your mother's maiden name or your surname or your login thing. They're asking you to verify it, but actually what they're doing is getting the information from you. So A, look out for mimic companies. B, never, never, never leave the platform. When you're on these platforms, be it Airbnb, be it Google, be it wherever you are, Love Holidays, the actual ABTA or ATOL registered company, don't leave the platform to talk on WhatsApp because you're verified and you're protected. Also, don't throw away all those payment protections. I know Marion was coerced into paying by bank transfer. Anything on a credit card or a debit card, even PayPal or through a website, you are protected. So all your safety nets go once you start throwing those things away. And that applies to everything, every holiday you are booking. And there's some really good scams out there at the moment. We haven't got time to go into all of them in detail, but the golden rules are stay on the site, choose an ABTA or an ATOL registered company, go on the ABTA website, the Association of British Travel Agents, or ATOL, stay on their websites, go onto those sites and find out where they're listed. Stick with payment protection, use your credit card, and just never, never, never leave the platform. And we'll go into some of the detailed scams another time on the AI scams, how to do Google reversing. Yeah. There's a lot of money being, the average victim loses nearly £2,000. It's the second biggest scam to credit card fraud.
And it's not just being scammed out of money, it's places being double booked or reviews not being truthful as well.
It is. And people are, and it's a generational thing, Gen Z's much more susceptible to being influenced by social media and for ads that they see out there. And you've got to learn how to verify them, how to do a reverse image search, how to check all those reviews. I feel another item on this.
We should do it. For sure. Marion and Marie, thank you for coming on. Hopefully you can enjoy the holiday. I know you got your money back as a goodwill gesture.
Yes.
So we're pleased about that. But we really appreciate it.
Just a goodwill gesture, just quickly, we want to say a big thank you to AIB Bank because they actually worked really, really hard to get the money from the online bank. So thanks to them.
Thank you, Marion. Thank you, Marie. And do enjoy the holiday when you eventually get there.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.
And now, as he's launching a campaign to help raise awareness, Lee joins us alongside Professor of Medical Oncology, John Radford. Good morning to both of you. Thanks.
Good morning. Thanks for having us on.
It's lovely to see
Lee, we've interviewed you, chat, me and Kat over the years in the 90s and the noughties.
Back to the 90s today.
Isn't it crazy?
Never had any idea that you had been through such an extraordinary medical challenge, which started as an 8-year-old. What do you remember back then when you first got diagnosed?
So, just before my 9th birthday, I remember always coming home from school, just fatigued, constant fatigue. And then my mum noticed a lump just under my jawline there. And we went back and forwards for about a year until we got diagnosis of Hodgkin's. So it was kind of a long process, but it was just a lot of fatigue, even kind of loss of appetite as well was something that I remember.
So once you get that diagnosis as well, I mean, you were just 8, nearly 9 years old, so I'd imagine that it was all quite overwhelming, didn't really understand the implications of it. What was the process then with regards to treatment?
So, I mean, it was a traumatic experience at that age, losing your hair with the treatment. So I had treatment chemotherapy. I can't remember how long it went on, but I just remember being in Newcastle Hospital in a cubicle. It was kind of an isolating time for me back then. And it changed my life. It really did change my life. And then 5 years later, it then kind of relapsed again.
Yeah, it came back.
So the second time you were almost 15, right then?
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you? Were you almost stronger because you'd been through it one time before? Or was it harder for you?
It was actually harder psychologically, I think.
I'm sure, because you're a teenager.
I'm growing I'm a little bit more aware of myself.
Yeah.
I was always checking myself after the first time for any lumps and stuff like that. But yeah, it really, I think the way I saw myself was the biggest problem going forward, and that went forward into my adulthood, into my days in 911 and stuff like that as well. And there's little bits still that kind of affect me, but I've accepted stuff, I managed stuff a bit better than I used to do.
But that process when you're suddenly at school and you're going through, as a teenager, when you want to be meeting girls and boys and you want to be going out and having a great time, and then suddenly you're going through this really brutal treatment again, that must have been really tough.
It was really tough, and I kind of blocked the world out, really. I didn't really go out and stuff like that. I was literally isolated, either in hospital or when I was kind of able to go home and stuff. I stopped myself from going out because I'd lost my hair and I didn't want people to see me. And I hated the way I looked. That was it. I was skin and bone and with no hair, so
it was tough. I mean, it's so testament to you that by the time you'd sort of been healthy, you'd been cancer-free for a while, you got yourself healthy, and then you wanted to get into a boy band, you wanted to perform, you wanted to be a singer.
I did. I loved Take That. Take That, it was my inspiration to get into 911. Yeah. And I had no idea how to do it, but luckily there was a couple of guys called Spike and Jimmy, and they were looking for a third member.
Didn't you right into a radio station
Exactly
or
what I did.
something like that? It was like...
Yeah, my local Carlisle radio station
And
at the
so
time.
do you know anybody...
Yeah, you've got it, you know that.
Yeah, anybody looking
Yeah.
for a
Good.
lead singer?
That was it, and they passed my details up to the manager in Scotland who was looking after the lads, and that was it. We were the same, we're quite small, we're about 5'5" each, and it just kind of worked.
It worked. And you're you're all clear now?
I am all clear now, yeah. There's a few things that have kind of happened along the way, but I'm fit and healthy and living life to the full. It's taught me resilience and lots of things, strength, you know.
And are there any other repercussions?
So the main repercussion for me was finding out 20 years after my recovery that I couldn't have children.
Yeah.
And that was a huge blow.
Because of the treatment you
Because of the chemotherapy,
Right.
yeah. And that was a huge blow. But it's something I come to terms with over the years and I've accepted, and, you know, I'm alive and that's the main thing.
John, it's brilliant having Lee here.
Yeah.
As Kat and I knew him when he's in his pop star days, the heyday of the boy band, and he's still with the boys now, had no idea. He was always
No.
a picture of health, jumping around the stage, performing.
Curtains.
Yes.
Fantastic to see that you can recover. But what you want to be is very conscious of letting people understand what are the symptoms we should be looking out for.
Well, I think first to say, Lee's story is very powerful, and it just actually shows what a big impact having this diagnosis and going through this sort of treatment has, especially on a young person. And Hodgkin lymphoma is the commonest cancer in young people. Overall, it's quite a rare condition. 2,500 new cases a year. Typically, people find a lump, and you found a lump in the neck or under the arm or in the groin.
In the lymph
These are the lymph glands that have enlarged as a result of the tumorous process. But the thing to remember is that it's not just about lumps. So you mentioned, Lee, as your first symptom, tiredness. And I think that is a very important symptom to be aware of. Also significant weight loss, loss of appetite, drenching sweats at night. And in fact, Hodgkin lymphoma can present in many different ways. And I think the message is, if you've got symptoms that persist for more than a couple of weeks and are not self-limiting, you need to get those checked out. Now, if you've got a lump, then that makes it a little bit easier because there's something there that's clearly abnormal.
You can see,
Physically, it's there. And of course, you then had a biopsy and the diagnosis was made. So I think the message that I'd love to be able to sort of underline is the importance of getting things checked out if symptoms persist.
Yes.
And of course, if there is a lump present and people, as it were, feel in the neck and under the arm and in the groin, if there's a lump that persists for more than a couple of weeks, get that checked out.
Yeah.
Most causes of an enlarged lymph node are infection, and that will go away. So most people with lumps, it's not due to lymphoma, but in some cases it will be, and that's why you need to get it checked.
Can I ask you a question? How do you physically do it? How do you check? Is it just pressing under your jaw?
So the recommendation is with the flat of the hand,
Yep.
and with a circular gentle movement, feeling in the neck,
Yeah.
behind the collarbone, the clavicle,
Yeah.
under the arm, and in the groin.
Okay.
Now, of course, lymph nodes are throughout the body, so you can't feel those in the abdominal cavity
Right.
or the chest cavity.
Mhm.
And of course, those can cause symptoms in their own right, such as abdominal pain, or it might cause a cough persistently, or shortness of breath. So, in other words, there's no specific diagnosis, and it goes to that point about if there's symptoms that persist, get them checked out.
And interestingly as well, if it is caught early enough, it is eminently treatable. But also the other thing is there's an impact to some of the treatment, understanding, because Lee didn't really know when he was 14 or 15 that this treatment could well make him infertile.
And Lee, that point about finding out about infertility later is devastating. And that's one of the late consequences of treatment. There are other late consequences that people need to be aware of, and the sorts of things that we can do to mitigate those, such as screening, lifestyle, other medical interventions, which underlines again the critical point for people like me these days is to try and devise therapies that are effective but less damaging.
And for the patients
And
to
for the patient.
communicate with their doctor.
Exactly. And this is all about dialogue and talking doctor and patient, patient and doctor and carers so that the best outcome can result. And finally, the importance of research and clinical trials, because without that and pushing the boundaries further, we can't advance.
No. Yeah. Well, it's great to see you looking so well.
Thank you so much.
30 years next year.
30 years next year, so we'll have a chat and see what's
Will you come back
happening.
and tell us about your new adventures
You'll be the
next
first
year?
one.
I've got a feeling there might be something
There's
big.
a little video that we've been showing, the first little clip of you, and it's the boys, you're singing, and it's the boys doing a strange little hippie dance thing. Is it? Which bit is it? I don't think it's the other one.
Oh, it's the other one. What is that?
And
Body shaking, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And
Is
Cassie,
it?
You've got my body shaking.
You've got my body shaking.
It's,
Watch this, watch,
Hold on, here we go.
wait.
Is it this?
Hold on.
This bit? No.
No.
It's where the boys get their hits going.
They
We haven't
really-
got quite the bit. I tell you what, Kat has been literally talking
Learning
about it
it.
ever since she's seen it.
I have, yes. Reminds me of... Go on.
Sorry, could I just mention that the charity is Lymphoma Out Loud?
Yes.
And the campaign, which I'm now ambassador for, is Know Your Nodes.
Brilliant.
Great.
Love you so much. Thank you, John, for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
No,
Oh,
thank
hello.
you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. So after Julie Wilde unexpectedly died following a brain hemorrhage, her twin sister Deborah made the decision to not only donate her organs, but also her hands, hoping that they could change someone's life.
Corinne Hutton, who lost her hands and legs to sepsis in 2013, was that special person and in return gave Deborah the chance to hold her late sister's hands again.
And they both join us now this morning. Lovely
Good
to see you
morning.
both.
Morning.
It's
Good morning.
fantastic to have you here.
Yeah.
I've not seen you for a number of years, Corinne. Over the years, I've seen you after, you climbed Kilimanjaro, when you collected awards. I haven't necessarily seen you since. I think you had your hand transplant. It's amazing looking at them there. And of course,
Incredible.
Deborah, I wonder how that is for you because, of course, it was you that agreed to make the donation in the first place because of your your gorgeous
yep.
sister.
Together with her twin boys.
With her boys as
We
well.
made the decision that, her limbs can be donated as well.
It's an extraordinary story. Tell us a little bit about your sister. What was she like?
Julie was a beautiful soul, very kind, caring, lovely natured, do anything for anybody. She worked all her life in healthcare. She was originally working for NHS BT, where she took blood, and then went for about 25 years, then went on to be a phlebotomist in Sheffield Children's Hospital, which is a job she loved, taking blood from babies and children there, until one day in January, 6 years ago, where she suddenly became unwell. Nothing wrong with her at all, physically fit, no medical history. She just got a severe headache one day and passed away.
She sounds like a wonderful
She was
lady.
absolutely perfect. My best friend.
In the whole world, yeah. And what happened? Because she came to you and she said she got a terrible headache.
She did. I mean, I'd been working away a few weeks, so I was moving in that day with her.
Right.
And she was absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I went up and went to the bath and she come running in saying, I've got a severe headache. Check my blood pressure. And I just said, Julie, you've got a headache. Well, take paracetamol. But then she started being a little bit confused, a little bit slow in her words slightly. So I just knew then that there was something wrong. I got her to hospital. So the onset of the headache to getting in hospital was about 40 minutes.
Right.
Where I was just booking her in when she started seizing and vomiting. So she became unconscious very quickly and I lost my sister there.
Right.
So sudden.
So sudden.
Very sudden.
So
So while she was unconscious, I got a specialist nurse came to see me who asked about organ donation.
Is it something
Julie was on the...
Had you talked about it together?
Yeah,
previously?
it had been mentioned. She worked for the blood service
Sure.
as well, and she got a card, and so she was on that service anyway on the list. So that was the easy decision. But then she said, "We need your consent for what do you think about limb donation?" Which is something I was quite overwhelmed with it to start with because I'd never really heard of it.
Neither had
It's
I.
something you wouldn't think about.
Until I read about this incredible story,
No.
I had no idea that that there was even the medical capability to be able to do it.
So, like I say, it took her back to start with, but then I obviously agreed to it, you know, what it can do to change somebody's life. But then, as I said, I need to ask your twin boys first, Sam and Tom. So I asked those, and they said straight away, if it helps somebody, no problem, yeah.
And the amazing thing is, it has, not only have her organs helped somebody, but her hands have helped Corinne here. So, Corinne, you have this extraordinary donation, and we can see the manicure, which looks amazing, the hands that look incredible. Just tell us a little bit about how you came to lose your hands and your legs.
Well, I had pneumonia, just a bad cough, really, and pneumonia should be manageable, but it went to septic shock, sepsis, and I was unconscious for quite a while, completely out the blue as well, fit and healthy, and, you know, wasn't an angel, but, you know, I looked after myself as well, but just completely out the blue, and they had to obviously save my life as best they could and you know, keep the oxygenated blood in your vital organs. So for me, that meant the extremities were starved of oxygen, and they turned black and blue, and that was a foregone conclusion eventually that they had to come off. So I lost my legs at the shins, and I lost my hands just at the wrist.
And at that point, did they say to you, were you aware that you could get a transplant?
Yes.
Did they talk to you about it? And when they broached the subject, what did you think?
Well, I'd been through so many operations to get these amputations, so many panics. In my mind, my immune system had let me down. So I didn't really want to go for something that meant I was immune suppressed for the rest of my life. So I originally said no. It was the same surgeon that took my hands off that had been involved with Leeds and the hand transplants previously. So he had mentioned it early on and then raised again a bit later on. And I felt I owed him, I suppose, the opportunity to listen and check it out. And I thought I would be against it. But the more you realised how excited they were in Leeds about what they could do for me, it rubs off a bit, and you thought, why would I not want to?
But it takes a while, doesn't it, to find the right potential organ that you can use, the right potential limb that you can use, whether you're doing sort of an organ donation or a limb donation, even more complicated for you as well.
Yeah, I waited 4.5 years. I did so many blood transfusions that I had so many antibodies in me that would reject against the wrong hands. So we had to find the perfect hands and the perfect blood type and things. And I know it's...
And she was a perfect match.
She was perfect. And it's so opposites there. You're excited. I get so excited about my hands. I'm so proud of them. And I, as you see, throw them about and I, love them and do so much with them. But never, ever do I think of my hands without thinking of Julie and what the other family went through. And it's the complete opposite.
But to see her gesticulating wildly and loving, it must actually give you...
Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
It's funny, watching you, Deborah, you just keep looking at her.
I mean, you just think when you die, to put it bluntly, your organs and your limbs are no good to you. And if it can change somebody's life, evidently, that's Corinne.
And the interesting thing as well is not just the practicality of having your hands and being able to do things physically, but just the emotion. You talked about being able to stroke your little lad's hair.
Anything, just being able to hold his hand. He had to hold mine for all these years. So, it's the emotional things that I didn't like me doing that by the time he'd grown up, but that's okay. He was getting anyway. The emotional things you don't think of. It's touch.
I saw you being interviewed, of course, with Kate and Adel on G&B, just not long after you'd had the transplant, and you were talking about where you were getting with feeling in the hands. How is it now? How's your sort of movement and feeling?
Movement, my right hand is 95% functioning, apparently. My left hand is 75%, which is just the difference of your dominant side.
Oh, I see,
which doesn't change, So, but the sensitivity and the touch isn't at that level, not like yours, but there's a delay, there's a bit of a delay, so I get there. Or if I've got a sore finger, then I don't quite know which finger it is. So it's complicated, really. But
you did notice, though, as Kat took your hand this morning, you said, "Oh, you're cold," so you can feel that. That's amazing.
Yeah, feel that.
Have you held hands yet this morning?
Not today.
Can we? Do you recognise them?
Of course.
Yeah.
They're still Julie's hands.
Just mind-blowing, isn't it?
Do they still feel...
They do,
They're warm.
Does it remind you?
It does. The Julie's hands.
Yeah.
Even though last time you said, I knew instantly they were my hands, they're still Julie's as well.
Yeah.
So they're still Julie's hands to me. And then it's amazing. They couldn't have gone to anybody better.
Thank you.
She was amazing as well, Deborah. And you and the boys being able to be sort of so altruistic and generous with regards to her organs and the limb donation, because it's a difficult thing for families when you've lost someone so quickly as well.
It is.
It's very brief.
It is. I mean, she saved 4 people's lives. They were a liver, pancreas and 2 kidneys. So she actually saved 4 lives, but transformed yours, Corinne.
Yes, it has, absolutely.
She lives on.
Yeah, she does live on through her hands. What a legacy.
And as well, I know, Corinne, that you wanted to make the point that the limb transplant is a very specific, complicated thing, isn't it? It's not like donating organs.
No, and it's not on the organ donation list. Although there's the opt-out scheme, which is great and is progress, I think it's far better to opt in, you know, actually sign up for the organ donation register. In that, you can tell people what you would like to or not. So I think, it's really important, but this isn't part of it yet, so you still have to make that big decision and answer that big question.
I just think it's miraculous.
It is absolutely miraculous.
I still can't believe she's not here, but she's here today.
You're holding on to her.
It's wonderful.
Which is magical. Thank you for coming in. Deborah, thanks for being brave and coming in and sharing the story. And Corinne, it's lovely to see you thriving and flourishing, as you always do. It's brilliant, really lovely.
And I just say that anybody out there, everybody's on the organ list now, but limb organs donation is not on the list. So you can talk to family, friends, if there was the unthinkable to happen, to donate your limbs.
Yeah.
I agree. Have the conversation. It's the most important thing.
Sure.
And a testament to how extraordinary it can be if you do have the conversation. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Gambling account. But what happens when a fun pastime becomes a spiralling addiction?
Sadly, that was the case for our first guest today. Sian McClere's gambling addiction got so out of control she ended up behind bars with her newborn son. And Sian is here with us this morning to share her story. Good morning, Sian.
Morning, Sian.
Good morning. Thank you so much for being
It's
here.
okay.
Brilliant. First of all, let's start off because you kind of got into it almost by accident. You almost fell into gambling by accident because you were going out for a night at the bingo.
So I was just going for a night at the bingo with work colleagues, friends, and they said, if you download the app, you'll get a free game when you go to the bingo hall.
Right.
So that's what I'd done. So obviously downloaded the app, and then, you start getting emails, have free spin on us. We've credited your account with like £1, say, and go on. So then I'd start going on. I've never ever played the games before, the casino games, never done it online. Started, and then obviously one thing led to another, and before I knew it, I was spending more and more, and it just became out of control.
Before it got to the point where it became out of control, though, was that quite a quick process? Because I'd imagine, Sian, if you hadn't done it before and there's something fun, you must have been winning a bit of money along the way thinking, God, this is great.
Yeah. So it's called like a significant win. And it wasn't so much. So about off 50p, I think I got 50p free and I won £50. And then I thought, well, that's easy.
Yes.
So I can do that again. That's easy money. And then that's then how it started. So it was only small amounts at first, but a lot, like frequently. Then it would become, OK, I've spent all the money in my bank, let's get payday loans, let's get credit cards, which I was able to do at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, because you can go online and do it. So I was doing that, and then it just spiralled, and it was, well, what do I do? People can't know. There was a lot of shame around me actually having, this addiction. I knew I wasn't very well, but I didn't understand it myself.
Yeah.
So, what can I do? I can't go on. I can't tell my husband that I've got no money, that I've spent all the money in the bank.
You didn't have a close friend that you could tell. There was literally no one. You kept it a secret from everybody.
But it's also that feeling of being so isolated as well, because essentially what's happened is it's you and your phone, it's the middle of the night, nobody's around, and then you lose a significant amount and you think, you know what, in your own head, you're thinking, I can win that back.
I can win that back. That was always the thought. My mind was so distorted that I always thought, no matter how much money I'd spend, well, it's okay, because I'll win it back.
Yeah. Were you hiding it at this point as well?
Yeah, I hid it until I actually ended up, it all come out. And so just before I got arrested, things like that, I hid it up until that point.
That's how bad it gets. Along the way, you had some more significant wins as well, though, didn't you? What was the biggest win you had?
The biggest win I had, £15,000, but I lost it in 6 minutes.
6 minutes?
6 minutes.
So you got that £15,000 in your bank account, you must be thinking, brilliant, I can cover some of my losses here. But rather than thinking that, you thought, I'm going to get some more.
Yeah.
6 minutes, Sean.
I thought I could turn 15 into 30. I thought I could get a put down an amazing deposit for a house. That was it in my head, what I thought.
So you worked at the time in financial services, and then you started stealing money from work, didn't you?
So in my head, I never actually stole. And I know this sounds really strange, but in my head, I was borrowing to hide what I'd spent. So I never actually stole to actually gamble. I was stealing to hide what I'd spent out of my bank. But this was happening every day. So this was a couple of £1,000s every day. And so in my head, always lending the money because I was going to win and I was going to pay it back. Up to the point where I went for the interview with the police and they said, when was the last time you gambled? And I said, last night. And I'd actually took my dad's credit card at this point because I'd been sacked from work because I still thought I'd win and make everything okay. And the police were like, but you still committed the crime. But I was that ill and not thinking straight that I thought, no, but if I win the money back, everything will be okay. Without
How much debt were you in at this point?
So debt-wise, I had numerous credit cards, payday loans. I'd stolen £323,000 from where.
Oh, Sean.
I know, and I could cry thinking about it now.
What was this time frame?
3 years.
300 and something thousand pounds in 3 years.
So the first year was I think it was around 2,000, and the police said they could see how ill and how much it spiralled. So the first year was £2,000, and then going on the next couple of years, the rest.
Just escalated faster and faster.
Which is a terrible story and heartbreaking story as it is. But then you also found out you were pregnant.
Yeah, so the day I actually got sacked from work, an hour before I'd gone in for the meeting, I took a pregnancy test, found out I was pregnant. So in that day, my whole world came crashing down around me.
When the police interviewed you and you knew you were pregnant, did the enormity of the situation suddenly hit you and, and reality in terms of... Because you had created this false reality in your head. And actually, when I listened to the podcast Hold or Fold, it's a thing that a lot of gamblers do, actually.
Yeah.
What was that moment like when the reality hit you?
Well, I didn't believe the police when they told me that's how much I'd stolen. I didn't believe that. I was like, no, I've not stolen that much. So there was that. Also, before that, I was ill. I was self-harming. I didn't want to be doing what I was doing. I was not enjoying gambling anymore. Not once did I enjoy it. When I got to this point, it was like I had to do it. So at this point, I was already really ill, didn't want to do it. So the police actually turned around to me and said, you look like a weight's been lifted off your shoulder. And I said, it has, because I'm not a bad person. This is not what I've wanted to be doing. I've hid this secret, this addiction for 3 years from everybody, and now I can finally talk about it. I think if somebody would have asked me along that way about gambling, because it's never really talked about. I mean, people would ask about drugs or alcohol, but never gambling. And I think if somebody had, it would have been a massive release for me to be able to say, yeah, actually, I got gambling.
I think if it was alcohol, though, or drugs, there's a physicality that changes about you. But therefore, nobody could see any difference, so nobody asked. No. So then what happened next?
So obviously it took a year then from the interview to actually going to court and going to prison. So in this time, I knew I needed help. So 6 years ago, things have changed now, but 6 years ago, I went to the doctors and they said, just prescribed me with antidepressants. But because I was pregnant, I didn't really want to take them. So I knew I needed help. So then I went online myself and I searched up help, and Beacon Counselling Trust came up. They're the North West provider for gambling harm services. That came up, thank God I found them. They saved my life. I will say that they saved my life. They helped me with my gambling addiction. They helped me with the thought of going to prison and how to handle it with George, with my son and everything as well. So, yes, with that, and then obviously came to court and got sentenced.
And you suddenly got sentenced, Sian, and you realise that you're going to go to prison. You've got a little baby. And George went with you to prison in the end, didn't he?
So he did, yeah. So not for the first 2 months. He stayed with my husband. And it was so hard because he was only 4 months old when I got sentenced. And it was so hard. I couldn't look at a picture of him. So I had pictures of my family up and I couldn't look at a picture of him because I talked about him, but I couldn't look at a picture of him. And then, you know, my husband and my sisters or my family would come and visit and I'd go like that and he wouldn't come to me. And I was like, I can't do it. So we looked around and Style Prison, they've got an amazing mother and baby unit. And we decided, let's give it a go. Let him come in with us. And it was the best thing we'd done. He was going home over weekends with family and he was with me in the week. And it was the best thing that I could have done.
When I was reading about it, they can only stay until they're 18 months though, because then the memory forms. And so it's great for him to develop this maternal bond with you straight away.
Yeah.
I think what's so interesting for me talking to you, you're so bright, you're so put together, you're so eloquent, and yet you found yourself in this kind of pit of despair where you just couldn't see a way out.
No, that's it. It can just happen to anyone. I think, obviously, the reason me doing this today and things is to show that it can happen to anyone. You know, I don't know, was I going through something in my life and I needed an escape? Is that why it happened? Or was it just purely that I just got sucked in and, you know, and the addiction just came, and it can happen to anyone.
You put your time... How long was your sentence in the end?
So we got 2 years, 8 months. I served a year in prison.
But you put your time to good use when you were in there. You got a degree.
Yes, you did.
So I applied for university with the help of the Longford Trust. They're a charity that they help prisoners go to university. I applied for that, so it started... When I came out in the January, I started my degree in the September.
Which was in
criminology.
And psychology.
A brilliant way of sort of trying to get through what you've experienced.
That's it, yeah.
And you're now working for the very charity that you say saved your life.
I am, yeah. So Beacon Counselling Trust, yeah. So I'm an early intervention and education lead. So we go into prisons, schools, we train professionals on the harms, of, you know, the gambling harms. And obviously Beacon, they do treatment services for free. It's all free as well for anyone who is suffering and for affected others as well. So my family could have got help.
Yes.
You know, because it's a massive strain on families as well. So
it must have been a hell of a shock for your husband when you had to sit down and tell him.
What breaks my heart more than anything, he thought I was cheating on him because of the way I was on my phone, because it was all on my phone. It was secretive. Yeah, so it was, you know, it's been a hard time, but we've all got through it, and
But Sian, you've turned it around. She's going out fun with George. He's 6 now.
Yeah.
Off for a school day.
Yeah. On Friday, a school trip.
You've turned it all around.
Sian, we're going to do a phone-in on this a little bit later on, but there will be undoubtedly people watching today that will be worried about maybe loved ones or maybe themselves with some sort of gambling issue or concerns about their interest in these apps that might be getting out of control. What would your advice be to them?
Just reach out. Don't do what I've done and hide it for all these years. I know how detrimental it can be, and how much your mental health can suffer. You know, call Beacon Counselling Trust. It's free advice. You know, just get the help that you need. There are specialists out there who are going to be able to help you. Speak to family and friends as well. It's such a hidden addiction, and there is a massive shame and stigma around it. I think we just need to talk about it more, normalise it. You know, the same as drugs and alcohol addiction.
And you can turn it around.
You can turn it around.
Turn it around. Sadly, this is an issue many struggle with in the last 5 years.
Thanks for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.